patch notes are starting here in a second. Yeah, I want to do something like that, Jordan, like just some old car. Like new age sports cars don't even come in manual. They're all automatic. What are we listening to?
What's up, everybody, and welcome to another Smite Update show. I'm Titan Dandy, and I'm super happy to have y'all back here yet again to talk about Update 11.4, that's 11.4, in Year 11. It's our fourth one. It's crazy how much time is flying into Year 11 already. Feels like just yesterday we were at SWC. Either way, I'm joined here today by some super talented people and some faces you might be familiar with. We got Lermy and J-Mac. How y'all doing?
Yo, what up?
Not much. Chilling. Ready for the update show. You good?
I'm so excited, dude. This is gonna have a lot of really fun changes, a lot of awesome skins, and some fun game mode changes that I can't wait to go into.
Really? I'm excited. J-Mac, how you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. I'm also pretty excited for this one. I mean, this one has been a patch that we've been kind of working on for a little while with some really fun updates and some fun changes coming through. So I'm excited to see how the fans out there
Is
react.
J-Mac on the dev team now?
Outside of the glass, watching y'all cook because it's just crazy. Like there's flashes of fire in the kitchen just constantly. So impressive stuff. So you might have noticed we all got the Smite 2 drip on, right? We're rocking it because last time we talked about the Founders Editions, about Smite 2 and being able to give y'all being able to buy your way into,
give us a date.
You know, helping support Smite 2 and getting into those alpha tests we were talking about. But we didn't have any dates for y'all last time. You know, that was a while ago. We were still setting things up. There's a lot of work that goes into getting something from in-house to out-of-house. But we got some updates for you now about just that. So we're gonna run it back with the Smite Founders Editions right after y'all see this video to get caught up and get reminded on what exactly each of those has to offer.
A day! And you better say whether I can stream it or not. If I can't stream it, I'm fighting.
Enough talk. Let's fight. Open the gates.
I'm gonna order a new monitor if they're releasing the date.
Smash you like a pancake.
Murder and seduce. That's what I do.
When the fuck did they? That was Neath, right? They gave Neath bigger titties.
Onward to victory.
I'm gonna give away a ton of these, by the way.
Man, watching
on that
Smite
first
stuff
weekend
is always so fun, dude. It looks so pretty. It feels so fun to play, and y'all will be able to figure that out soon.
Yeah,
so
damn.
Starting next Monday, that's April 15th. That is right around the corner. Founders packs will be available for purchase. That's right. We have a date now. We were finally able to do it. Sorry it took so long.
Wait, that's just purchase.
There's a lot of work that's going on. It's crazy watching these people grind constantly.
Wait, that's
to get this
pre-order.
ready to give out to the world. So it'll be available for pre-order starting April or next Monday. Man, I can't even. I'm just so hype. All right. So next Monday, and I say pre-order, right?
Is that a tax day?
It's kind of a double-edged sword. So some things are pre-order, some things are not. There's a lot of Smite 1 content that you get out of all of those. The skins, the tier 4 Neath skin that you saw there, and the Zeus skin, the first T5 for Smite.
So
2,
where's the date of the first
if you
alpha?
buy the editions that contain them. So if you pick those up, you got some stuff in Smite 1, you're rocking.
I
with
think
it
this
now,
might be a,
But Smite 2, you're going to be able to use that stuff
we have to
when
wait
it's
again?
able to be played, which is not going to be April 15th. I'm sorry to say that. It's not doors open right away with the Founders Editions. But what they will do is get you into the early alpha tests. And you might remember last time we had High-Res Kilgoon, we had Alex on the show, and he was like, hey, these are alpha tests. This isn't like marketing alpha tests. These are alpha tests. So we're getting people in here to play stuff super early to give us.
They're not gonna let us stream this, are they?
To the way that the community wants it, to be the best game that everybody can enjoy. So I don't have an exact date for you, but I've been, we're trying to do better, trying to give you these dates.
I mean, there's be so many people with access. They should let us stream it.
Be guaranteed access to if you have any of the Founders Editions, any of the 3, is going to be in May. So right around the corner.
May
Like,
what?
That's super close, and we're super
The
excited.
first
to be
weekend
able
of
to let
May,
y'all in
the
for
second
these.
weekend of May, the
And again,
last
it's
weekend of
gonna be- It's
May.
gonna be a weekend thing. It's gonna
May
be come, play
2025?
the game, give us feedback in an early state, and let us know, does this feel good? Does this feel like it needs a little bit of work? It's going to be pivotal to helping grow Smite 2 from where it is now into the beautiful and amazing game that it's going to be for.
Bro, that's
hopefully
fucking
the next 10
crazy.
years,
They haven't
just
picked the
like
date either.
Smite 1.
It
So,
said May.
Again, Founders Edition.
It's gonna
April
be
15th,
May.
next Monday. That is
Justin
so
Timberlake?
few days away. Put it on your calendar. Get ready to purchase it on
First
the store
creator
of your
skin
desire,
is
the
Justin
platform of your
Timberlake.
desire. And we're looking forward to hopefully seeing y'all in the alpha test in May. And more info will come on that soon. But just keep your eyes out for that, because again, it really is us reaching out to y'all and saying, hey, thank you for the support. We want your feedback. We want you in these play tests pre-day one. This is day negative 200 probably, to come in and tell us, like, y'all are working on the right path. This is going to be exciting. Anyway, I could go on about this forever, but let's talk about some of the stuff you're going to get in Smite 1 right away, right? You just saw it all in that video, which is always amazingly edited. Man, I love our video teams. But let's go to Zeus, right? That tier 5. That is the first tier 5 in Smite 2.
Oh, shit.
It's helping us found the software and all
Oh,
of
they
the,
already
like,
said
the
this,
tools we
right?
need to make tier 5s in Smite 2.
Wasn't it
But
Zeus?
It's also going to be in Smite 1, and it's just such a pretty skin. I think we have a render we can show of it as well. Really cool looking. So the Fallen Zeus,
Yeah,
we're going
okay.
back to the classic.
I forgot we already
T5
saw this.
mechanic Of a
Yeah,
skin
yeah, I
that
forgot we saw this. Why are they
transforms
showing
as
it
you
again?
level up. And I mean, these have always been some of my
He
favorites.
had the cool
right, y'all?
hand.
Yeah, I adore just this kind of like transformation that he does. He clearly becomes this like monster almost, where he just gets so much more like visceral and strong, and all of this like really cool demonic energy starts to overflow, and it comes from all angles too, not just the model. The effects get crazy, the sounds get crazier. It's just this super intense transformation that I can't wait to play.
I mean, going from just having, standard hands out there, just throwing lightning bolts with it, to eventually getting the gauntlets involved in there.
I think some skins are getting ported over eventually, but I don't know what skins.
Transforms into the
I think
battle
most will
axe,
be
and then
new.
eventually
They want to
it's
get
just
your
those
money.
Gauntlets, the wings all popping out. I mean, this skin is gorgeous, and seeing it both in Smite 1 and then in
This is a
Smite
tier
2,
5
whenever you get a chance
skin.
to play it, it makes it work.
I think it'll be in Smite 1 and Smite 2.
Incredibly so. And as was said, the effects, the look of it, it's incredible in Smite 1, and it is incredible plus in Smite 2, because our teams, everything that they do is just fantastic. So I could talk about this all day, but again, this is something you can look forward to if you buy that edition of or the Founders Edition that has that skin and all of the other bonuses. You have double legacy gems, you have ascension passes, you have the Smite God Pass or God Pack. It's just so many things to look forward to. And again, April 15th, that is literally Monday. It's right around the corner. We're just so excited to finally get something out to y'all officially like this. I mean, we've been doing cross-gen skins all year. We've been giving y'all stuff as much as we can, but this is the first truly Smite 2 thing that we're able to get out. And then hopefully, right around the corner in May, open those doors and get all of y'all in, playing the game and letting us know what you think. So either way, I could talk Smite 2 all day. It's incredibly, incredibly fun to talk about and so exciting. But we got some really cool, exciting Smite 1 things to talk about as well, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So let's move right on forward. We're just going to jump
It
into
does, Tanner.
a bit of a news thing real quick. You know me, I like
I think
sharing
the reason they're
news,
not
got
giving a
little bit of
date for
esports
May
news.
is they
So, yeah, it's all been
aren't sure
keeping up
everything
with
will
the
be
content
ready
creator show matches.
for a
We have
mass
another one of
test.
those coming up this weekend, actually. So if you're looking to sign up, you have today and tomorrow, so through Thursday.
Didn't
to
they
get
say there's
those
like a
signups in,
$40
unlock your
version, a
team in,
$60 version,
join
and
into the
like
party,
an
and you'll see the
$80 version or
matches
some
coming up
shit?
this weekend. And I mean, J-Mac, you're tuned into this. Are you excited for it?
The Content
I'm
Creator
always excited
Cup
to
is
see
a fucking
the
joke.
Content Creator Cup, not just for the creators
Completely
themselves, but
botched.
also the people they bring along with them for their community. We've seen some teams, for example, it's in EU. We saw Betty Smite sometimes play the games, but other times just sit back and kind of let the community play a bit, and he'll spectate, kind of coach and cast his own matchups and whatnot. We've seen it over in NA as well, but this being now the final week of open bracket means we're going to be very close to locking in the group stage teams.
30,
that are
60,
coming as
100?
well.
Okay, I was close.
If you missed any of the Content Creator Cup, this weekend for EU and next weekend
The
for NA are
Content
probably
Creator
the two
Cup
most
turned into
important
people
ones
who
for
don't
this
make
stage.
content,
Super
making
cool.
teams
I'm super
with their
excited for that to come
competitive
along. Always
friends
super fun to
and
watch. And again,
competing
make sure you're
in
tuning
a
in
cup to
right
win
here.
nothing.
So now let's move into some Smite 1 cosmetics, some fun, some skins. Y'all might be familiar with the Immortal Honor event. I've talked about it on every update show thus far, from world stage to here, and I'm going to keep talking about it for the rest of the year because, and I'm going to run this back for y'all, every single update, 2 skins, cross-gen every time. And that's what we got coming for you here. Another 2 more skins that are cross-gen, which means they confirm gods in Smite too. But yeah, I mean, might as well just dive right into it. Starting off with Phantom Seas Poseidon.
You do that on purpose. You say dive right in.
Uh-huh.
You know, water.
Uh-huh.
He certainly is looking
Looks like a
pretty
recolor.
drippy, I might say.
He's dripped up, dude.
Is that what his Kraken is supposed to look like? That is sick.
Yeah, he's got like these like kind of crystal. He's almost sort of like spectral in a way, which I think is cool. But he's got this like handsome, ghostly aura going on that I think is really cool.
Oh, are we still talking about the Kraken? I was going to say that Poseidon's pretty handsome too, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
All the blues that go
That
with it
looks
too.
like a
Yeah, it really
recolor.
gives you kind of that feel where he is like the king of like the deep sea more than anything else, because you know, like king of the sea,
Looks
you know,
like a
we've seen, like,
recolor.
you know, the defaults where, you know, he's just kind of like, hey, I'm there, I'm this guy, but you can definitely tell that he's spent his time down in the deep sea.
Oh yeah, he's not getting much sun down there.
No, he's not getting the sunlight he needs.
He's got that classic like mer person blue hue to him.
Yeah,
you
I
know,
like how this feels like Poseidon, but just a different take on him.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I mean,
Almost like this could have been released like almost our like old tier 2 style of skins where it's like, here's the god, but like slightly different. I feel that this is like just past that line, kind of getting to like that old tier 3 style.
But he's got his own effects. He's got a voice
He's got that
pack.
oh yeah,
flowy-
he's got his whole
Let me tell you,
thing.
I didn't write this voice pack. This I think was a Tina special, but it's a good voice pack, I will say.
I like the flowy crown. Now I'm curious what
Paladin
this looks
skin?
like in Smite 2. So let's check out the Smite 2
Oh,
render.
I'm excited. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Every time I say this, I feel like I come back to it, but you can really tell the upgrades and the materials. Like, you can kind of like more so feel like the scaliness on the leggings. You can feel the glow coming through his trident. I think it's just such an excellent job that our team has done to really just boost the fidelity of all of these skins.
And I think that's the big
Yeah,
thing.
his
Like,
right
going
hand
into
looks
Smite
weird.
2, you know, we have the
This is a
deep dive
render,
that went
though.
over into like the lighting effects are going to be
Oh,
changed.
yeah.
This just looks like a default skin though.
I can already tell that me walking.
This one
through the
doesn't even look like a
darkness
recolor.
of the jungle or something like that with this skin.
This is
I'm gonna be lit up like the
$100?
4th of July.
What?
Everybody's gonna
No.
know where I'm walking
No.
just because there's this giant blue beacon walking around. But
Well, I mean, it's kind of cool in a lot of ways, too.
That's true.
We've never had that interactive lighting component before where you can see your light bouncing off of other surfaces of the gods, you know?
Yeah.
And that's just makes
No,
it,
they
like,
can't
so
say
much
they don't
more
like it.
immersive almost. Like, it
They're
feels like
on
you
there to
really
sell
are,
it.
Like, let's say, like, we're in a dark
But
pit.
like this doesn't even
Maybe
sell
you
it.
do want to play the skin that's got the light
Nothing
in it,
they
you
could
know? I
say
think,
will make me
it
like or
really just
dislike a
bumps up
skin.
That kind of realism, but not in a way that's like disruptive to the classic Smite style. It just makes it feel more modern. and
Yeah,
that's
it
awesome.
feels a little more alive and reactive to what you're doing. So super incredible. Excited to see this in all of its radiant glory in Smite 2, and excited to see it in Smite 1 just a little bit sooner. So next up, the second skin, which I'm super excited for because I love, I don't know, this type of skin. It's goofy, it's fun. I'm a big fan of it. We have Trash Goblin Scylla.
This skin is hilarious.
It's so
It's
good.
so funny.
Her little possums. I absolutely love it, dude.
as soon as I saw the name, I'm like, okay, this is gonna be like one of two things. We're either gonna get an actual goblin Scylla, or we're gonna get like a raccoon style or like a possum style Scylla.
Yeah.
Turns out we got both of them because we get Scylla with little possums.
Yeah, that is, I love
We
how bright and
cooking.
colorful it all is too.
I hope this
because
looks
she's
good in
crawling
game.
out of the sewer, or what it looks like a sewer. But then you have these beautiful purple butterflies, like the red of her tassel and scarf, or like skirt maybe, and then the suspicious town guard up in the top right there. But either way, a super fun skin that I'm a big fan of.
Oh my God! Look
Thank
at
you,
that.
Harper, for the sub.
Wait, they have arms.
They have little arms.
Wait, they
All
do
right,
have
this
little
is the
arms.
best Scylla skin now.
Okay.
That sold it.
All right, it's a little creepy, but like kind of in a fun way, you know?
Yeah.
I
mean,
don't
there's
think
definitely
this
some
beats
innate
the
horror to
Avatar
anything
skin.
Scylla, because that's kind of what she is. She's that
Yeah,
unsuspecting
that's true.
horror. But yeah, it's just their big ol' eyes and their
He's
little
just an innocent little
smile.
goblin.
Just a little goblin, just getting trash.
Gives me like vibes of like the.
Why
the
is coaching
Titan
150?
Rebels, like, the
Because
arms that are
that's
just kinda,
what
like,
an hour of
there.
my
Yeah, same
time
for these, but
Oh,
on stream is
this
worth.
is such a good skin.
Well, let's see if it looks just as adorable or like moderately creepy in Smite 2.
I'm ready. Oh,
She looks so.
Okay,
much
that
more
actually
suspicious,
is
like-
a
This is
really
something that's
clean
gonna chase me in
skin.
a horror
That kind of looks like it could be in a
I
movie.
don't know how I feel about that.
Maybe not a
I'm
good
gonna-
movie.
I'm gonna be walking through, and it's
But
gonna
a
be like
movie.
little scratches on the wall. And it's gonna be the little possum's claws just like creeping
Yeah.
along the side.
they are creepy in a way.
They are. I like. It's the horror thing. You just see her arms
Fiona
on her back,
having
doing
a-
that little twist, or like skirts twisting around, all innocent.
This pose is really
Wait.
good.
Yeah, and
Wait,
then
wait,
there's
wait. This confirms
four
Scylla for Smite 2.
scary long possums. They're like
Yo,
ferret
I
possums.
didn't know if she was confirmed or not.
I
Now
don't
I
think I've
know.
ever seen a possum
That's one of
look
my
quite like
3 I
that
need
before,
confirmed.
so.
the infinite possum.
I need Sir Cat confirmed because
All right,
I don't
so
think
those
they're
are the
going to
two
port
things
Sir
that you can
Cat.
expect from the Immortal Honor event with this patch. Again, if you clicked buy all, you're just going to get them when the patch goes live next week. Don't worry about it. If you've been kind of holding out to see what's coming, you can buy in chapters or you can buy them individually, whatever you want. It's up to you. But all of these are cross-gen, so you can look forward to seeing these in Smite too. So next
It
up,
does
we
look better
have
in UE5. But I
one
think
more skin to
everything
talk
does.
about from a chest showing up next patch, the Operation chest. And for those of you who are fans of the last Loki skin, this one might hit close to home. We have Nurse Nightmare Izanami.
Hello.
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 Wow.
The doctor is in.
I'm feeling a little sick right now.
Or the
I don't
nurse,
know.
I guess, is in this case.
Point yourself out in the picture. That's definitely me in the bottom left.
She's taking good care of you, you know?
I look well taken care
All
of.
the spectral projections in the background. Like, I've already passed, but I just want to stick
That's
around
a
a
fun
little bit
little
longer.
reference to her too as well. I think it's such a good look in general. I love just all of the spectral energy going around and her expression, even with the little surgical mask on. You can still tell it's really intense. I just
Yeah.
love how the artist took the perspective into account here.
I agree.
Incredible work.
No, wait,
Whoever
Newtek,
does
I'm
their
the-
card
I'm the guy in
art
the window on the back
should
left.
probably get like a
Watching from the
10x
outside, wondering
raise.
What's happening?
Because I swear people get hyped on a skin before they even
Oh,
see it because the
dude.
card art is 10 times better than
the,
the skin.
The posture that Isa has just works so well for this kind of theme as well.
Yeah.
It's just already unsettling.
It very much is. I don't know. There's something. I don't know if I feel comfortable about the nurse that's about to operate on me being that twitchy though.
She just wants to fix you up, man.
Oh, okay. She's just excited to get into the surgical process.
Yeah, she can fix anyone.
Oh, okay.
Oh, fuck
I
you
can fix
guys.
her. All right. So, like everything, or most things, I'm going to say everything. There's like 4 exceptions. But like most things, you know this is a cross progression. You know you're going to see her haunting the battlegrounds of Smite 2. So we got to check it out real quick.
Oh.
Wow, that just turned it up to 11.
Yeah.
Wow. You can really feel I'm just the texture person, I guess, but like you can
texture
really
person.
feel like the individual like folds of the cloth. You can see the details. Like it feels like something that you could actually like wear. And that's so cool, dude. I don't know. It's just really, really well detailed, and I think it really pushes it to that next level that you'd expect.
How
from a
does she
Smite
fit her
skin.
head
I
through that little
completely
turtleneck?
agree, and again, I'm just
I can
excited
never
to see.
fit my head.
You'll see this. You're gonna see that Loki skin, the T5, the knee. It's just so many cool skins. I am so excited. That's one of the reasons I'm so pumped about this Founders Edition release. Is because we really get to open the floodgates.
Don't
to the
question
community
it.
And see people come in and try out these skins and do all kinds of things. So
She's
super
dead.
super
You
excited.
just-
It's going to be really
okay.
fun. And again, that's going to be part of the Operation Chest, which is coming in the next update next Tuesday, right around the corner. Next week is huge. Monday, Founders Editions for Smite 2. Tuesday, we got the Smite 1 patch. It's going to be a crazy. The beginning of next week is like starting on a high note. You got to love that for a week. Any reason to make Monday a good day? Okay, in my book. So let's move on now. We talked about some skins. Now we got to get to balance. We've been talking about how much the design team has been out here cooking, and they have been. And to help talk through some of this chefing they've been doing, to describe the buffet of changes they've created, we've added somebody new to the couch. So we have Lermy and we have Ro. What's up?
Hello, good to be here.
Rose dope.
Glad to have you here.
Watching these shows for years, and now I get to be a part of them.
Well, you're going to be a pivotal part today, and hopefully many times more in the future,
Yes.
because the way I hear it, you've been doing a lot of cool work around, but now you're stepping into the designer's shoes. I saw it on Twitter, so it
Yeah.
has to be true.
Yeah, that's true. I've been with Hi-Res for a couple years now. I started off in customer support, moved to QA, and now moving to design to join Lermy and the team. And there's a lot of work to do, but it's all exciting work. And this is part of it. You know, I get to be here, get in front of the community, and talk about the things we have been chefing up.
Yeah, well, I'm super excited. Congratulations,
Thank
first and foremost. Well earned for
Congrats,
sure.
congrats.
And super excited to see all of the good work you do. Because yeah, I hold designers in high respect. I put the ball. I don't know how to phrase this properly because it's not T-ball. Long story short, all I do is set y'all up to be amazing on this show. So you're about to come out here and just bring it to the next level. And I know
Oh
you
yeah,
are. So-
everyone better be getting ready because this is gonna be a fun.
Did you just
Yeah,
say
we
he
wanna get
doesn't know
crazy. Yeah,
what
this
the
patch,
T
next
is
patch,
called
you
in
know, we've got
T-ball?
A lot coming.
Patch after that
Yeah,
one too.
Yeah.
Or maybe just every patch.
Watch out for the patch after that one. It's going to also be big like all of the ones before it and after it. So let's dive right in. We're going to talk about some game mode stuff, starting with a very general change to kind of everything, and that's kill rewards, getting a little tweaky.
Indeed. So this is gonna, first change, and you're already getting a preamble. You know, we gotta start out strong, I guess. But essentially, there's been a lot of discussion around kind of the early game. This is especially true for conquest.
Jordan, you can't go at him like that.
Where the early game has
Sets
been
him up
feeling
with,
a
wow,
little bit,
this skin
not
is
necessarily
cool.
sluggish, kind of the
So
opposite
exciting.
almost, where things have been going a little fast, but it also feels like when you push your leads,
Decreased bonus
you can
XP
get
for
punished
low-level
pretty
players
easily.
killing.
You make one mistake, and then you see, you know, I'm kind of back to even again, and everything that I had worked for the past, 10, 15 minutes kind of went out the window. So
All right,
instead
we're
of
starting
making
off
one kind of
good.
big change, because I
We're
know
starting
throughout
off good.
years, and especially in like
I
the
don't know if
past
it's
2
enough,
or
but
so
it's a good
years,
start.
There's been a lot of kind of anti-snowball measures we put in the game. This is one of them that has existed for a little bit, and we want to kind of do a couple of small changes here and there and kind of see where we end up. And if we need to keep making further adjustments, then we will. But this is kind of the first step on our kind of train ticket down the line of bringing it back just a little bit to make sure that people who are skillfully playing the early game, really playing through their team and taking those advantages where they can find it, that they feel like they're getting adequately rewarded and most importantly, not punished for being so far.
Exactly. We're just playing with the risk versus the reward a little bit right now. It felt like more recently, maybe since the start of the year especially, the risk wasn't really worth it for the reward, especially once you got up to a certain point of having a certain amount of snowball or lead.
You can be 10 and
you could
0,
lose
die
it in
one
a
time,
from
and your
just
whole
one
lead's
play that
gone.
You might have just been, oh, I was
Fuck
just having
that.
fun. All of a sudden, my lead's gone. So now we're making that that fall a little softer, so you can take a bit more risks for that reward.
Awesome. Well, cool. And that's good to hear. You know, it's nice to be able to say I worked for that lead and then I was careful to maintain it, and one little slip isn't going to push me all the way back.
Exactly right.
So awesome stuff. All right. So moving forward a little bit, we're getting into Conquest now. And Conquest has some really cool changes that I'm excited for.
Ooh.
And y'all might have noticed J-Mac has not left us. J-Mac moved back to the driver's seat. Are you ready to dive in so we can start talking about this first Conquest thing?
Yeah, no, I'm ready to go.
All right. Well, first
This
up,
is gonna be a
we're
new
gonna
jungle
introduce
camp.
somebody you're familiar with, but in a different environment. We have the Bull Demon King.
That's right.
Let's
Oh,
let's dive in game and check him out.
Let's see. So you'll see a familiar face is spawning in the fire giant pit, and if you'll take a note here at what time the game is, you'd be quite surprised to see that it is about to be 2 minutes on the dot
An
in
eternity.
the
Oh
Conquest Series.
shit! Solo
And
lane,
so,
jungle,
what kind
mid,
of,
fighting over this
brainstorm that we
at
were
2
doing a little
minutes.
bit is how do we spice up the early game? Because again, kind of going back to
Shit.
that early
Watch
game
it give
theme,
nothing,
trying to
though.
make sure,
What's it give you?
That, players
this one's at
felt like they had
203.
things to fight over and to kind
2300
of
HP?
choose to do on the battlegrounds, especially more neutral areas to encourage fighting, encourage getting active, taking some
Wait,
more
most
risks.
junglers can just solo
And
this,
so
right? Unless he
having
does
this kind of
crazy
objective
damage.
to do is one way to do that for
Yeah,
sure.
for
So
sure.
we brainstormed a couple of things that we could do when it came to the objectives, but we just thought the Bull Demon King has this kind of foundation in Joust. And he does have some fun little mechanics he has. You know, you have to kind of juke him, you can pull him around. And do
Okay,
things
and
like
Joust,
that.
he's a joke.
And he
Come
just
on.
overall is
If
a
it's the
very
Joust one,
solid
it's a
boss
joke,
monster.
which is good. It's probably a good thing.
And I think he actually fits this area really well.
He does.
Yeah.
You have the flaming on the shoulder pads and the wrist pads and the weapon.
I
as
wanna
well.
see what he gives.
And just kind of scale wise as well fits.
All
in.
the stocks
Fits
going
well. You
up.
can see it's only 2 minutes. We found a lot of the jungle meta, especially right
It's
now.
boring
where
as fuck.
The combat early was very focused around mid. The
Yeah,
only
because there's
outside
nothing
parts
else
of
to
that
do
was
if
when the
people ward.
jungler would go to the outside lanes to get Naga or the shield camp or the CDR camp, for example.
This
But
just gives the
then they
junglers
would
something
go
to
on
compete
and go
over.
straight back to
But
mid,
what's
and they were
awkward
just kind
about
of
this
hovering around-
is if you
around
win
mid
mid
a lot.
lane,
Yeah.
like mid jungle, you win.
We
You
saw
should have
junglers
control
kind
of this.
trending a little bit more to the duo
Unless
side,
your
and
solo
it
is
ended up
stomping.
being really heavy on that
Damn,
side
it just
to
went up
support the
fucking 300
Caesar
HP
and the
after a minute.
jungler. So we wanted to give the junglers something to do on the other side of the map, push them towards solo lane just a little bit, and have a global reward so that
Use
you
your
know, the
team
mid laner, the
horns.
solo laner, and the jungler. can all come to this
Aesthetic, but that would
objective.
actually be
So
kind
that's
of
what
value
it's
if you
for.
gave
It's an
gold
early
too.
game objective, just something to fight over more in the early game, and
You get more and more badass the more times you do it.
Yeah, exactly.
I was about to say,
Bigger
that begs
horns.
the question, what are you fighting over? I mean, you know, obviously the Bull Demon King has to offer some form of reward for slaying him. What are we looking at here?
Yeah, so it's kind of twofold. The first bit of reward that, you know,
Bro.
you're killing a neutral jungle objective, you're going to be getting global golden XP for your whole team if you do kill this bad boy, which... in general, we have kind of
Just
designed
keep
him to
wanting
be
and kill this shit.
soloable by
Holy
jungle.
fuck.
It will just take you a long time if you do it by yourself. Ideally, you want to pull
60
either
gold,
your mid laner
120
with you, your
XP
solo
each.
laner with you, and you'll be able to do it a little bit faster. But you know, if they're not in
mean-
the lane in the early game, it's going to be kind of obvious, right?
Yeah.
So in theory, you know, if you are missing your laner for a long
That's
period
a lot
time,
of
you go,
fucking
"Oh, I wonder what
gold.
they're
What's
doing."
the
You might be on
respawn
Golden
time?
King.
Yeah,
But
and
that's not the
Is it
only
3
thing that it
minutes?
grants.
that's right. We can see J-Mac hovering over there. It reveals all enemy wards.
For
the
a
duration.
minute?
That buff
Does
is there for
everyone get
60
that?
Seconds, and I'll spoil it right now. That's a 2-minute respawn, right? So if
2
you're killing
minute
that on
respawn. Is your
spawn,
team
half
have
the
that
time you're
buff,
gonna
or
be
do
able
you
to
have
see
that
enemies'
buff?
wards. And when we're talking about it getting more action in the early game,
That's gotta be a
getting some
team-wide
more
buff.
snowball
Bro,
happening just a little bit
what?
more, really, that's your opportunity. You can see the enemy wards. You can either go up and
What?
kill
That's
them,
huge,
take the
'cause
extra
so-
gold
duo's
from
just gonna be able to wipe the
global
wards.
gold that you're getting. And
Oh
XP
my
from killing the buildings yourself.
God.
Get extra gold from those wards.
Bro, you don't need
Or
a
you
TP. The
just go
duo
around
can
and
just
make
go.
a
The
jungle
support
and
can
look for those
roam.
gaps.
This gives the support something to
path that you
do.
have open to you now.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's kind of twofold.
So
right?
wait, does
Because
this only-
everybody on your team
wait, when
gets
does
this buff.
fire
So
spawn
even
then?
if you as the
Is
jungler
fire still
don't wanna go
spawning
over
at
to
10
duo,
minutes?
Your duo lane might see. Yeah, they placed down
no,
a
fire
vision
doesn't spawn
starter.
at 10
Yeah, they
minutes,
dropped
right? It's
a ward
15?
or
No, it's
sentry
10.
or whatever it might be, and I can go kill it.
So fire has to spawn later.
It's very,
Otherwise,
very exciting,
can
especially
only do this like 3
for
times?
those junglers, soul laners, and even mid
Maybe
laners that might
4?
want to venture over
Probably
to
3.
the Bull Demon King's lair. He will certainly be there and ready to take you on. But one important thing to note here is that he lasts until 15 minutes. The Fire Giant now spawns at 15
Yeah,
minutes.
see?
And yes,
Okay,
the
this is a
Bull
good
Demon
change.
King can respawn
This is
several
sick.
times throughout the match. So yeah, you
Oh,
wanna
this
be
is
careful
fucking
with when you're
glorious.
placing your wards. And also, we've seen sometimes in our playtests too, where we've had people actually use it to their advantage when the enemy team has gotten the Bull Demon King and kind of play baits
That's right,
around a ward that's
Okay.
dropped.
Exactly.
So
yeah. We've seen that
it's very
before. Is
interesting.
like you'll see an enemy.
This
have
is
it,
sick.
They know they sentry ward.
I don't know
someone,
how
you
much
don't
this is
place a
gonna
normal ward on
change
it, and you know they're gonna
The
come
actually,
come
this
through
might
the
change
normal
jungle
ward
meta
because
to
you can
pure
see it, and you
pressure
just kinda play it
junglers that
any
can
way to
clear, so you can
ambush
clear
them.
mid, you and your mid
do
can
this,
clear
which is
this.
Really fun. And yeah, every 2 minutes you can
Pressure
do it.
mids are gonna be more
around 60
valuable.
seconds.
You're not gonna be able to
It's
play
well
low
and truly
pressure
worth
mids.
doing, especially if you're the jungler. One thing we haven't touched on yet is the jungle items like Boomba's Dagger and Eye of the Jungle and things like that. They will work on this boss, so that makes it much
Okay,
easier for the
okay.
jungle. To
Why wouldn't they
actually
work
kill
on this?
jungle boss? Even though it's like it's kind of not a jungle boss, it's kind of a jungle monster somewhere in between because it
Yeah.
gives global gold. Think of it like how the Scorpions were back in season 7, 8. I don't remember
Yeah,
exactly.
back
When they were. Yeah, it's similar to that,
Jordan
where
said,
you
"Get
can group up if you
get
need
the
to,
Bull
but you
Demon
don't
King to
have
see enemy wards, but there's no
Just
wards, and
depends
you're
on
just
how much
getting
time you're
stream
willing to spend there,
sniped.
between your camp respawns, your ganks,
Hey, now I'll
whatever
know.
is necessary for you to be doing as a jungler.
Oh, Sparky.
You can spend the time there, but it'll probably be easier
Even the
if you
5
bring
months,
someone else
Sparky.
with you.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yo, if
Well,
you aren't
that's
subbed,
super
you should
cool.
sub
And
because
I
it removes
love
ads,
new
and because I
camping
like subs.
mechanics like that. Because like you said, there's reveals the wards. You can be like, that person isn't warding, gank them, or they are warding. Let's take the wards out.
Same for you
Or
on
work
YouTube, you
around
should
them to
become
gank,
members.
or get sniped at a ward. It's just so many levels to that. So really excited to see this in game. And yeah, you can see it, respawn again. It'll just keep coming back till that 15-minute mark. So.
Yep.
and
It's
it
2
looks
minute
really
respawn,
cool.
mama.
So super awesome. Love to see that. But there's still some more conquest changes.
So
we
you
have
can
to
do
talk
it-
about.
Yeah, we have a lot actually.
Like
Yeah,
6
staying
times
in the
total
line
if you're
of
on it.
bosses, we have,
Maybe
Gold
7?
Fury actually getting some
No, you do it
changes.
6.
Yeah,
6 times
so
total if you're on
kind
it.
of, again, back to the similar lines. We want to kind of spice up a bit of these objectives, neutral fights, things of that nature. So Gold Fury is kind of, what you would typically expect to be the early game objective. It's
Yeah.
kind of more of a mid game objective. The later, as the years have gone on, it's kind of moved.
Been hard to do.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
definitely been harder to do recently. So one thing that we're doing is that when the Gold Fury attacks, all versions of it, they have a different sort of offhand ability, attack, whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
where they shoot this beam, and the beam debuffs you in different waves. The Gold Fury slows you, the Oni Fury makes you take more damage, and the Primal Fury makes you deal less damage.
Okay.
But instead of them stacking at 5% of their effect per stack, it's going to be going down to 4% per stack.
That's
So,
smart, bro. The
it's just going to
slow
kind
from the
of make it a little
fucking
bit less
Oni or
punishing
whichever
for
one it
those
is
people
is
that
so
want to start the
annoying. Or base. Is that base?
Because typically the way
Base
that
slows?
it's always worked, especially in higher level play, is the people that start the
Thank you,
objective,
Anarchy.
they usually lose.
Sir
the
Broda,
fight.
thank you for becoming a member.
Not ideal.
Yeah, and it stacks I think 6 times, so we're bringing it down from 30%.
Dude,
to
20, the 30%
24,
slow
yeah,
that you would get hit by was I would
so it
rage
makes
about
just
it
that
all the
little bit
time.
easier to tank, and hopefully that more it encourages players to go for it a little bit earlier in the game.
All right, cool. Well, to shift from the big Harpy to some smaller ones, the mid Harpy is also getting a little adjustment.
Yep. Again, kind of same
So
idea.
mids
just
can solo
giving,
them without
the
dying.
players a little bit more agency
Thank
to
you,
feel
Anton.
like they can go and do camps without, getting
This is
exploded by
solely
them,
so
which
mid
certainly
laners
has
can
been
do
the
these.
case with the mid Harpies. A
Actually,
little
it
bit
kind of
for
fucks
the
jungles
past,
up too.
Few patches they've been a little bit more difficult.
Thank you,
ever since we
Grizz,
made them 3
for a
instead of
gifted.
2. So we still like, the XP balance of that area, but it's just been a little bit difficult to do as the mid laner. And even as the jungler with jungle items, they still hurt quite a lot. So just a little bit less should be very nice for those guys.
Yeah, not to be trifled with.
That's right. Yeah, hopefully mid laners can just go to them, even if you don't have a health potion, right? Because you're going to take some damage. You're still going to take some damage, but it'll be just less. So you won't feel so bad if you don't have a health potion.
Sounds good. And is it a similar vein for the Nagas, which are also getting a change?
This is actually a kind of a little bit different, right?
Really?
So
Okay.
these next few changes are kind of grouped together in a way. When we added the Nagas,
If you
in
solo them, they're
11.1,
already worth
they
a
were
lot of
kind
gold.
the teleporter guards that were there as temporary camps to do.
Yeah, hold it out till the teleporter shows
But
up.
they've never really felt like they were worth it, really. at any
Oh,
point.
because splitting it felt like
they're a
shit.
little bit tankier than your average, like Harpy or even your buff camp.
Hold on, splitting them
but
at
the
start
reward
was
really
not
wasn't
45
scaled
gold, was it? I
to
thought it was like
being,
10.
As much as that time would allow that you had to spend there. So what we've done is we've pulled XP out from the side buff camps, so the shield and the cooldown.
Correct.
XP and gold out of there into the Naga. So not actually a change overall in what the amount of XP there is in each lane.
You're shifting it
but
towards the center of the
yeah, it's going towards the center of the map. It's going to let junglers get a little bit more involved if they want to, and just kind of give more value to that.
I do that camp as a
specific
jungler all the
Got
time
it, and
at
that's
level
coming
2,
from the
so it's
shield and
value.
cooldown buff, then.
Right,
wonder if that puts you to level
we found
3.
That, soul lane and myself.
When
and-
you
and
don't go to
ADCs as
lane.
well,
There's no
we're
way.
just getting a lot of free farm because that shield buff and that CDR camp
Dude, this
weren't
is fucked
contested by
because you're gonna
anybody
go.
outside of that lane, so it was just
You're
kind of
gonna
free
go
farm,
mid as a
focus on
jungler.
those two people,
You're gonna
bring
go
it towards
left
the center of the
mids.
map, actually
You're gonna go
puts in the
mid, and then you're gonna
support
go for
and
bull
junglers.
demon.
They can contest for that XP, and it doesn't feel as bad.
Bull
now as
demon
well
is
when the jungler is
worth
splitting
more than like
the
anything
Naga,
on the map.
Whereas it didn't feel so good when it was less XP.
Got it. Well, that makes a lot
There's
of
nothing
sense.
else to
Cool.
do.
And last but not
Just
least,
fuck
this
duo
one's,
lane.
this one's a little cool sounding.
And then if you're a jungler that can't go to the bull
Actually, one
demon
more
because
thing
you're
to
so
talk about
out cleared,
with
you're gonna go to
cooldown
duo.
buff.
You're gonna do the Naga and go for a
let's
game.
jump back to cooldown
Back
buff
to
really
cooldown
quick,
buff.
because cooldown buff's very interesting, right? Because we had a
What are
we
we
had a long
doing?
talk about cooldown in 11.1 where cooldown kind of felt like this stat that was all over the place. It was very easy to come by.
Yeah.
So you removed it from a couple items, but what ended up happening is that even though the cooldown buff itself is very strong, you still run into that problem where if I'm at the cooldown, it doesn't do anything.
What?
That's
So-
golden XP, but
Wait,
Yeah, that's kind of
what?
it. You don't really care to pick up the buff at that point. 'Cause
No.
you're like, it doesn't matter if it's on me or not. If I have 40%, I don't really care. So
I
now,
r-
instead of just not really having to care about it, you now can care about it a little bit more because it
What?
has an effect
It's-
that allows you to have reduced cooldowns even if you have 40%. So
Okay.
you're not feeling too bad about picking this up no matter who you are, what cooldowns
That
you
is
have. A little bit of
fucking
extra reduction there
dumb.
every couple of seconds is very nice.
Yep, and
What
this one
the
is one of those
fuck?
feel-good changes as well because you get to see those cooldowns. Just,
It's
tick
already,
down,
it's
do that
already
little
one of the
bit,
best
same as
buff,
the
if
Chronos
not the
Pendant,
best
you only
totem.
get
It is the best
Yeah,
totem.
exactly.
Why
But
are
this
we
is every
buffing the best
0.5
totem?
every 5 seconds? So similar to Chronos Pendant, but
It's a nerfed Chronos pendant,
Cool.
but
I
like
almost
that buff is
forgot what a
already
fool that
good.
was. All right, so now we're gonna move ahead to Invader penalty, also getting tuned a little.
Yeah. So again, we talked a little bit about this with the kill rewards at the
Yeah.
very beginning of the balance portion of the show. But this is kind of again in that
Oh,
same
this is
vein. We want to
huge.
have players getting
This
a lot
is
more
big.
active. I know that players look back fondly upon
This is big. It used to be
invade meta
15
with a little
minutes.
bit of
Now it's
rose-tinted
10.
glasses maybe, but we
Isn't quite
certainly
that.
it's not quite that, not even close. But we do understand that we want that to be a viable strategy.
So if you don't know, the way the game works, they nerfed invading. So at 0 minutes, if you invade, you only get 75% of the golden XP. And then by 15 minutes, it's 100%. Now at 10 minutes, it's 100%.
And then it scales linearly until 10 minutes. Most of the
That's
invades
great.
really happening
I love it.
after 4 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So that
That's
70%
huge.
number
That's
isn't
really big.
really 70%. It's 40% less than that. If you want to do the math.
Dude, this is
That
gonna be a
doesn't mean it's
super
30%.
Big math
clearing meta,
But
pressure
yeah, so
meta,
you will feel the
which it
more
always
rewards
is for
from
pressure.
the
But like
invasive
clear and
balance at that
speed is
earlier
gonna be
point. And
huge
after
because
10 minutes,
invading is gonna kill you.
It just scales down faster, which is going to feel very nice, especially towards that like
Invades are gonna
mid part
fuck
of the
you
early,
up.
It's like a very weird time
Yeah,
to describe.
Because
but, you
it's
know,
going to be
you guys-
way more
the way it used to
snowballing.
be is you'd really feel it when you got your first.
Yeah,
one or two
jungle
buffs.
is getting. This is a big jungle
Right now,
patch.
it's kind of okay. You can get away with it as long as you get your third.
It's
and fourth.
honestly a really
Right
big
now,
mid
after this
and
patch, at
solo
least,
patch too.
you'll
They
really
have to
feel
have
it
pressure.
more if you're getting that first.
If they
buff
don't have
taken,
pressure, it
and then the
makes
second one a little
it
less so.
really difficult to play the
Yeah,
game.
so again, we're not trying to say invades are back. Invades not the meta per se, but we want it to be something that players
worth
can
going
focus on. Yeah,
Yeah.
If they want to play around the early game and really push it, they can. And
Yeah.
that should be something that they can do if they want to.
That I was
Yeah, if
praying
y'all
for a
feel
jungle
like diving
patch and we're
into
getting it. I'm
jungle
actually
and,
happy
you
so
know,
far.
Risking it all, or
Like if
risking
this was
it
the whole
some,
patch, I
then,
would
you
be
know,
happy and I
it'll
want
work
to
a
play
little
it.
better
Like, I
for
want to
you
play
around that 4 or
PTS.
5 minute mark, especially. So
And I will add just one more thing.
Please.
This is something we're going to keep an eye on. Same with the previous snowball changes or anything we're adding to the game that adds to the early game. We're going to keep
I
an
don't
eye
think
on
it's
it. We've
snowball
identified
meta,
a problem
but you
of,
will be
like, just
rewarded for
one, not
invading.
being maybe
Or
quite as action
if
as
you're
we-
being
as we
invaded,
would
you
like
could
in
go
that
invade
point in
their
game,
camps on the
especially
other
in
side of the
Conquest.
map instead
And then
and not
two,
get
maybe just
behind.
the risk versus reward not being worth it. If it doesn't shift enough, we can add more. If it shifts too much, we can scale it back. So this is something. It's a delicate process. You know, these may seem like baby steps. That's because they are.
Yeah,
We don't want to go. We don't want to go back to the invade.
it's a
meta.
good
That
start.
was really not fun for a large majority of the community.
Yeah.
As much as everyone would like to look back on it and say that was fun, it wasn't for most people. So we want to bring back the fun parts in baby steps. We'll get there eventually. Keep giving us feedback as well. So
Yes.
Yeah,
We
I feel-
definitely are interested to see like where the data ends up after this one as well. I'm sure Max is going to have a field day with it.
Max the legend. And I mean, yeah, y'all hear us say this all the time, but feedback central. Like we love the feedback loop. We say we're making this change. We think it's cool. Y'all come back and say yes, no, or somewhere in between, and then we kind of work
Oh,
to this happy
okay.
middle point.
So the
where,
way
like,
invades work, if you invaded at 1 minute, you only get 30% of the or 25 of the golden XP. You don't get 100%.
now we're moving out of
So
Conquest.
at 10 minutes, you will get 100% now, rather than at 15 minutes getting
Now we're getting where the
100%.
assault
So it
means.
used to scale from 75 to 0
This first
over
one,
15 minutes
starting off
instead
with
of
a
10.
really
Now it's
fun
10.
change. We're talking God Select.
So you get
We've
more
got a
XP and more gold
little
earlier when you
swapperoo in the
invade.
Assault God Select cycle.
Yes, absolutely. There's 130 gods.
that's a
It's a
lot.
lot of
Right
gods.
now. That's a lot of gods. So we were thinking about, you know, what makes Assault very fun and what's cool about it. Of course, the randomness is a really key core component of
Yeah,
Assault.
at early game, you
But,
get
know,
even more
sometimes you
because it's
roll up into
5%.
Assault, you get a god that you don't like,
lower.
you reroll, you still get a god that you don't like, and you're like, man, I wish I could
Fuck
go
Assault.
one more time. And sometimes you can manage to get your teammates to trade and then trade you
Sorry.
back. But if you're playing with randoms, it can be a little iffy on
Yeah.
if they're gonna reroll for you, if they're gonna even trade it back at that point. You
Yeah,
never
they-
know.
yeah, they go there, yep.
So a little bit more agency for the actual individual going into the lobby to be able to reroll twice is going to be very nice. Although again, healers still ineligible for rerolling, and to accommodate for this as well, reroll and trading time has been increased ever so slightly just to give you a little more time to think about your selection as well.
Yeah, with the second reroll adding, there's a lot more trading as well, so we needed that extra time, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, it just gets you to build a team comp as well. You know, when everybody's got a second reroll, that is a lot. You know, so you can really
Yeah.
craft a fun team comp around whatever healer you have, or if you don't have a healer, you can kind of dig for one as well. It is worth noting you can't, like, if you enter the match with a certain god, you can't re-roll into that god again, so you don't have to worry about that too much. Somebody else could roll it, you know, they could get it back. So you could always, you know, get gods back that you had before in case somebody else rolls one away that you didn't have. So there's no problem with that. It's just strict fun, re-roll twice, if you want to.
It's crazy too how with both teams re-rolling twice. I'm trying to do math on the update show. I'm sorry.
In the
It's
trade.
still not including the trades. Just 5 people, the 2 re-rolls each. You're still coming out to like a quarter of the gods in Smite,
Yeah.
even potentially being seen in this. Like it makes sense, because there's so many different characters for you to cycle through. So that's really cool. That's fun. I've been in that situation where I'm like not a huge assassin player, and I'm like, all right, cool. Loki in this game mode, not somebody I'm particularly good at. Let's try again. Ratatosker, not for me, man, but I guess I'm gonna play it.
Yeah.
And this gives me the opportunity to not get a third assassin.
A higher chance to get zoomed.
How about no rerolling?
Perhaps,
True.
maybe, I don't know. All right, well, cool. So now we get to dive in game. We've gone God Select. In game, we have some towers to talk about. So the tier 1 tower is getting a little love.
So Assault has been a mode that's kind of been, sitting there very solid for a long time. But one big
We don't
issue
care.
that we've seen talked about is turtling in Assault.
True.
And so in general, that part of the beginning of the game when you guys are just poking each other, you're sitting in a tower, just waiting for the
Boring
wave.
sometimes, yeah.
Little bit of the boring segment of the Assault match, you might say. So what we're doing here is we are significantly dropping the tower's defenses in general, but they are also going to be a bit stronger. So even if you do dive, it's going to hurt a little bit more. But on top of that, we're adding 50% damage mitigation to them. And you're wondering, wait, Lermy, you just said that we're making them weaker. What's going on? Well, we are. Let's move on to the next lower third here because we are going to talk about bastions. Bastions in Assault.
No.
They function very similarly to the ones that you see in Conquest. If you kill them, they remove the damage mitigation from the
bandit.
tower. So again, they are ever so slightly stronger in terms of their defenses,
Right.
with both bastions, once they're gone, they
This
are
isn't
much
assaults,
weaker
correct?
than they are right now in live Smite. So
Got it.
you're gonna have to kill the bastions that are positioned on the outside of the tower
is
line.
assault,
so
right?
it kind of brings in this new mechanic of,
Yeah,
oh
this is
crap,
assault.
I actually
Who
have to
cares?
fight to protect my bastions, or I want to go kill their bastions because their tower is gonna be much weaker after that.
Yeah, very smart.
Anything
and it
good
helps
yet?
with the
Yeah,
turtle.
Andy.
You know what God is way too good
Jungle
at
Jungle's
turtle
gonna be a little bit better.
Kuzenbo?
They
See,
they
that's why I
reduce
like
the
it so much.
XP
I
you
get it.
lose for
Yes,
invades.
because
It
of
goes
the
at 10
turtle.
minutes. It's
Alright,
full
so
XP
moving
and
on
gold.
to the
And they
health
added Bull
orbs.
Demon King to
Those
the
are
Fire
gonna
Giant for the
roll
first
a
15
little
minutes of the game.
Yeah. So another kind of this is more of a minor
More of a minor.
complaint, more of a minor touch
Alright,
here.
more of a
But
little Band-Aid.
when we last made a pretty big assault change, we added health orbs, and what this did was to help kind of unify how much sustain was going on amongst the cast, which admittedly at that point was a bit smaller. That's it was a while ago that we last made some significant assault changes. But what also that means is that people are dying less, and in general, if people are dying less, that means there's less kills, that means there's less pushing. And so we understand that feedback, and what we've done to kind of work around that feedback is that we're still happy with how having these little bit of sustain orbs are helping to, if you get a character that has no sustain, you're still okay, you're feeling all right.
Yeah, you can hold on.
But what we've done is that we have moved the outer kind of, not jungle area, but the outer kind of lane that exists in the middle of the map. That orb is going to be spawning a little bit later. So at the beginning of the game at 1 minute, the center lane orb is still going to spawn, same exact time, same exact place, but the outer orb is not going to spawn. So what that means is that you're going to need to actually fight over that guy a little bit harder because it's going to be your only source of sustain other than the ones by your towers, of course. Those guys are completely unchanged, but it's going to be a little bit more crucial to actually get to that one and not just sneak off to the side and go get the other one.
Got it.
And I think that one's more fun to fight around as well because you've got the corners and it's way outside of the tower range as well.
Yeah.
So any action that goes in there really matters because it's so.
There's
high.
gonna be item changes, yeah.
It's
They're
such a
just so
confined
slow
space.
getting
You
to
start
it because they
popping
show
off
us
with
every
those, or,
skin 10
I don't know,
times.
there's like a
Then they go over
Hercules
every
game or
game mode that we don't care
something.
about.
We'll talk
man.
about that
And
later.
then we get to see
So
it.
the last thing
get
here
to
is it
changes.
seems like y'all might have affected the giddy up when it comes to getting out of base, getting out of the fountain every time you die.
Yeah, I mean, this is mostly just to get people back into the action faster.
games
It looks
tonight?
kind
Bro,
of
I'm
scary
jumping in my
when
car.
You're reading it, like,
I'm
oh my
there.
God, people are going faster. Like, what's going
Humans.
on? Like, why am I going back
That's
to my
like
turn
a
faster? It's really
5
only
hour
going
drive
to
if
be
I go
getting
fast
you
enough.
back to the action. It's not designed to persist into any team fights going on. It is
Dude, assault
purposefully
is trash.
duration.
How do you guys play this game mode?
To get you to the fight and not much else.
Exactly, yeah. It's the same as the one coming out of the.
Oh yeah,
conquest
Blue
phase
Buff
at
got
the start of
Blue
the map.
Buff
At the start
got
of the
Chronos
map,
Pendant
any map
added
will-
to it.
It'll go away as soon as you
Sorry,
get to combat.
Blue Shaman Totem got Chronos Pendant added to it.
So there's nothing to worry about in that regard, but this just gets you back into the action sooner. It can be disheartening, boring, whatever you want to call it.
Not
sometimes.
Totem? Oh, it was Blue
Dying,
Buff?
You're spending all this time to run back to the.
Oh, it was the
back to
silver
the
buff.
tower or
Wait,
in the middle of
that's
the map
even
where your
worse.
teammates are,
Because now Solo's
and they
gonna
die
fuck up the
before
Bull
you get
Demon
there,
King.
Before you get there, or the action's over before you get there.
Oh
This will
my
allow you to
God,
spend
bro.
more time in the match playing
Solo
the team
laners are
fight
gonna
rather
destroy
than
life over there around the Bull Demon
back to
King.
your tower.
Exactly.
Yeah, makes perfect sense to me. Super cool. All right,
What were
so
they
that does it for
thinking?
Assault. Hope the Assault mains are happy. But again, let us know how you feel once this rolls out next
Even
week. How
worse.
those changes feel for you. But next up, we have another game mode to talk about. One we've talked
I
about
hate
every
Solo.
time thus far because it is constantly moving and shaking. We have Duel. And looks like we have some ban changes to go through.
Yes, it is. This is a very fun one because
I
for the first time ever, all previously banned gods in Duel are now unbanned.
They're back.
All of the gods are back, except we are banning a new 38 of them, which is the 38 most recent releases in the game. And would you believe me if I said that dates all the way back to season 5? Cerberus is the earliest god that is banned in this list, as you can see here. Well, these guys are the unbanned ones. Sorry, I apologize. These are every god that is coming back from
back,
the old
baby.
gods. The old gods are in, the new gods are out. So welcome back to these guys. And yeah, goodbye to the new ones. So goodbye, Newt. Goodbye, Bake Kujir. We won't be seeing you.
Yeah, later.
All of those guys are out all the way back to season 5. Can you believe it? Cerberus season 5? Wow.
I know it's crazy to see like Newt, like world premiere, like recently came out, super crazy.
look at
and
all
then,
the
like,
warriors
you
and
look at the,
guardians.
last of the 38, and you're like, Cerberus. been
Look at all
around
the
since
warriors
the
and
dawn of
guardians,
time, I
bro.
thought. Like one
Achilles,
of the what?
It's
Horus,
so funny.
King
because all of these
Arthur,
gods still feel like new gods to
Gilgamesh.
me, just because I've
Shiva,
played the game so
Surtur.
long. So this is almost taking it back to when I used to play Duel more, and this kind of goes back to the old.
They should just
school
delete all
Duel
these
God
fucking
mode, which I'm
gods.
really interested in, where it's unhers like 1v1s would be really really fun.
Yeah.
It takes away like a lot of this new stuff. So if you haven't played Duel in a long time, especially since season 5 or the start of season 6, maybe this is the time to go back and try it again, because it might be just the way you remember it.
It's going to be very interesting too, because there's a lot of new items, a lot of new mechanics since that time as well. But it's interesting too, because you've got characters like Kali back in the meta. You've got Bakasura. Like who else is crazy? I mean, you said Anhur is like kind of the mainstay, right? He usually gets
like
through a lot
Ullr and
though.
stuff like that.
Yeah, Ullr I think was back in the previous one as well, but
AMC, Freya.
oh yeah, lots of GOAT OG classic dual gods coming back.
Well, that'll be fun, and we're hoping that y'all dual aficionados out there are excited to get back in and kind of run that old roster, So super cool. Again, we're always moving and shaking on the dual bands. So excited for another one. Like, the masterminds on the design team always cooking up crazy new band lists. So all right, so we did it. We talked about game modes, and now we're moving on to items.
Yeah.
So we have some really cool item stuff to showcase. All of it's really cool. We have some I'm super excited for it stuff, but we got to talk about a couple nerfs first. We have to get 2 nerfs out of the way.
Just a couple.
Just a couple. So
ones.
let's just get right into it. Yeah, with Sphinx's bauble, kind of a hot topic.
Are
Holy
we shocked?
fuck!
Probably not. We talked about it a little bit on the bonus balance notes that Sphinx's Baubles was certainly an
It's
item
dead.
that was
It's dead.
meta warping for
It's
certain
dead.
characters.
It's dead.
Disruptive is
It's
a way to
dead.
put it. So
It's
we definitely
dead.
noticed a stark increase
It's fucking
in the amount
dead.
of individuals purchasing
Holy
Sphinx's Bauble after removing the downside, which we thought was cool.
450
Generally a good
gold?
thing,
Yeah.
What we wanted.
But a little too much in that
Yes.
direction, maybe. and my personal issues with it, is that it was in the early game too much, and that was mostly due to the price. So that's what we've hit. And I think this, correct me if I'm wrong, if you know better, might be the biggest single price increase we've ever done.
Maybe ever. Outside of actual reworks, it might be the biggest price increase ever. And the reason
Yeah,
is
I'm
because
pretty- this has to be.
like Bro was saying, we want to make sure that it is firmly not like a 4th or 5th slot. This is going into your
It's
last,
actually dead. I'm not even trolling. You're not
luxury
building this
slot
anymore.
If you want it there.
It's
That's when
too
more gods have
expensive to
make
build.
cooldown as well, to be
It's
able to-
actually dead. That's crazy.
You can actually, if you're someone other than the soul laner, you can go pick up
I
the
can't believe they
cooldown
killed it that
so you make
fast.
sure you have that
I
boost
thought they would leave it in for a while
more
to keep the
often than not,
game
because
spicy.
you
It's
use
dead.
Bauble at that later in the game, and it kind of pushes away those.
There's
builds that
it's
are
already
pricey,
a
so
luxury
you
item.
fail not
It's
in
like
the
a,
first 2 items,
it's
just so that
it's
you
not
can
a must build on anybody, and now it's dead.
The 3rd item, it's like that isn't necessarily how we want to. It's fun for some people. You can still do it. It's going to cost you a bit more gold, but yeah, it was a little too disruptive in that regard, and this should.
That's crazy, bro.
In terms of the strength of it, though, it's still going to be as strong as ever. Just going
No,
to take you
not
a
for the cost. No, it's
significantly
not.
bigger commitment to actually get there.
Strength is
Yeah, everyone
only
pockets
relevant
just
to
a little
cost, and
more.
that's nope.
Or
Nope,
kind of
nope,
not
nope.
a hair, I guess, like you said, kind of a lot actually.
It's
But-
kind of a lot.
kind of a lot. All right, so the other item catching a nerf right now is Conduit Gem.
Yes, this is mostly focused around those solo lane guardians and mages.
Saw
picking
that
them
one
up.
coming.
This also will certainly affect the mid laners clearing as well, but we've been kind of back and forth on this item a couple times.
They're
and
doing
finally
this
have gotten to
so
the
you
place
have to
where
play
we feel like this is the
clear
right move
gods to go
do,
control the
and
bull demon.
It's going to just slow down that clear a little bit.
Like,
This
you can't just
specifically,
build
the minion
conduit
damage is not
for
that
pressure.
great.
You have to
It
play
just felt
clear
like there's
gods.
too much early clear coming from this item, especially in the solo lane. If it does turn out to be impacting mages more than we.
I think Conduit Gem's still good.
I'm sure. we
And
could
on some
adjust
gods, it's gonna
power
be a
or
must.
something to help mages.
There's
that
other
doesn't help your
options.
guardians
Yeah.
as much, but this one specifically targeting those early clear guardians in the solo lane, and yeah, making Sands of Time maybe brings
If
Conduit
this had
Gem a
pen
bit
on
down
it,
to
yeah, it would
Sands of Time
it would be. If you're talking about
Got it.
Bauble, if it had pen on it, it'd be
Super
useful.
rad,
Yes, it'd be
and
really
that
good
does
still.
the 2 item nerfs that I had mentioned. Now we're getting in.
But you'd add a
the number
whole
2
nother
is
stat
relevant
to
still
it.
here because we have 2 very cool items to talk about, and that's because they're new. We have 2 new items.
One of these better be a
What
jungle
are y'all
item.
Doing? Y'all are crazy. And I think
know one's a hunter
we might
item.
even get to see one of these in game. Am I right about that?
Yeah, no,
Very
I'm ready to go with it.
All right.
right.
Well, cool. So this first item is called Stormseeker. How about y'all talk about it a little?
Yes. So
This is an attack
Stormseeker
speed,
is
apparently.
a brand new item that builds off of Hunter's Bow. So this is in the bow tree. It's in the same segment as Silver Branch and Atalantis, as you can see here.
Ooh, it's
Right
pretty.
next to the other
Whoa.
bow buds. stacks. And what this does is that it is 1,900 gold, so it is very, very, very cheap.
Cheap little item.
But its stats, they're kind of low. 15 physical power for a tier 3 item is possibly one of the lowest.
0.15% attack speed.
And it's also got
999
20%
max
attack speed. But
stacks.
you'll notice
Hold on,
here,
what's the math?
and we spoiled this a
Someone
bit
do
on
the math. I
Twitter,
don't feel
is
like
that
doing
every
it.
time you basic attack a god, you get a permanent stack of attack speed. But it is a
Is
very,
that
very small.
is that like 90? It's like 100? 100% attack speed? What is that?
If you
have max stacks.
eagle-eyed viewers were checking out that description,
150?
that stacks
Okay.
all the way to 999.
That's a big number.
We're gonna be here a while.
Is it only stack on gods?
Press tab, see how many.
You're never hitting 999 autos on a gods in a
Actually,
game.
what I'm excited about is building this item in like the first item, so you can really start to get into the action.
There's gonna be
It's
so
only
much
1900
more
gold, so you can
trading with
buy it
this
on the
item,
first
though.
stack a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And then you can come back into your lane and just box the enemy hunter as much as possible.
Yeah.
With that attack speed. And by the time you hit like a threshold of a couple hundred stacks,
Just move the
it ends up being a
decimal
really
over?
efficient
Moving
item
the decimal- what are you talking
definitely
about?
worth keeping. And it's been fun this whole time building up the stacks. And you
Go
can see
fuck
J-Max
yourself.
not getting stacks from hitting minions.
Yeah.
Absolutely intended. We wouldn't want people to just go and, tank a
either
buff
way.
and just
Yeah.
get a
Slow
buff.
farm and.
Yeah.
No, it's permanent
Yeah.
stacks.
Encourages them
It's
to actually
so
get into the action
fun.
with us.
I have been enjoying this
You're
item
ne-
so much.
hold
in Dawn
on.
Conquest as well. In
How many
Arena,
autos
in
are you hitting
Assault-
on a god in a
Oh
game?
my god, what was the highest I think that I can remember from playtest was like 450. I
Yeah.
think, and I was just slamming it as Ishtar in Arena, trying to get.
I don't think
as
this
many
item's
stacks
that
as I
great.
could. Maybe a little bit of inting for stacks there, you might say.
It's worth it.
but
It's worth
Like,
it.
are you even hitting 100 autos in an average game?
Dude, I
it
want
was a lot of fun.
I want to do this on who am I thinking of? Charybdis.
Oh, on
Yeah.
Charybdis,
Because
it
you
was
get
really good.
most of your autos in the as a
three
hunter
stack,
in
plus it means
the
you have to hit
early
those
game, like
guys,
level
which is
1, level
my
2, level 3, level 4.
That is the problem.
You won't have the
hitting
item.
basics.
Yeah.
Little skill check, but
Want to buy Griffin Wing as well? Help a little bit. More attack speed and faster projection.
That sounds like such a fun combo, dude.
There you go. You can do
there
it.
you go.
All right,
That
I'm
seems
running
like
Hunters in
shit.
Arena now. Cool.
I don't know if
but
I'm
yeah, a
mathing
super
correctly,
cool
but that
new
just seems
item.
like
I
seems like ass.
I love things like this. Like things that stack. I guess it's not technically infinitely stacking, but for the sake of
Yeah, good luck.
the normal duration.
I'm pretty
of the game,
sure
if somebody
they're
hits
drunk and this item
999
is dog shit.
in a
I'll be
normal
impressed.
Game, yeah.
I'll be impressed.
If it's like, you're bot stacking and it's a 57-minute game, then all right, sure. But like in a normal game, it's basically an infinitely stacking item.
Yeah, I mean, we
And
were
that's
seeing
so
averages
crazy.
like, and our playtests kind of, they vary a little bit. We have new players come and try things out. We have very experienced players. I mean, obviously, Ro is an SPL coach. We have people like Chaos, who previous SPL players as well.
Yeah.
And they, we were sitting, between like 200-300 on the upper end of things, and when you get kind of crazy.
That's
and get
hyper
told that
late
maybe
game.
it's
That's
up
like a
to 400,
40-minute
games
game.
get long,
And that's you
they can
only
get
have
from
that
there.
attack speed
But yeah,
at the end of the
I would be sincerely
game.
impressed if anyone does hit the 999, but it starts to get worth it. Around that like 150.
Silver
200
Branch?
mark,
What
where
are
I
you
feel like,
saying,
this is
Silver
a
Branch?
really worthwhile purchase for me.
Yeah, that's right. And I just want to say, if somebody does hit 999, please tell us. Screenshot, tweet us.
Please,
Yeah,
please, I want to see.
Record it.
Absolutely.
Please.
This item doesn't
Yeah,
matter
we have
because
J-Mac working on it right now. But
I mean-
hey, hold on, J-Mac.
We're currently at 240.
let's say most people will get to what is 240.
Fun way to think about this one as well.
If
is,
you have
you know, wanna think
240
about how many
stacks,
you can
say
get, think about how much
200
damage
because
you do
240 is probably what you're hitting hyper late game.
Remember, that
So let's say
includes
200
ability
just to be
damage,
generous.
damage,
How much
things
attack
like
speed is that?
If each one of your auto attacks is only doing 100 damage, and let's say you only have 22,000 damage in your game.
30,
then that's
so
not
the
that many
item has
stacks, right?
45%
Think
attack
about
speed, and
you
that's
have to do
it,
a
and then
lot
the
of
little bit of
damage
power,
to
it's
get
trash.
stacks, or
It's
you
dog
can do a
shit.
lot of little hits, but a lot of attack speed.
It's complete dog
like you
shit.
said, Griffin Wings, I think will be
Item
really
sucks.
Yeah.
good, and just build stacks that way. So it'll be a fun.
You
challenge
could just
for the
go
community.
It will be.
any
And
other item and have
again,
instant
there's-
value.
I have always enjoyed.
This
game
is
within
a
the
bait
game,
item. Mama,
you're
you're
playing
right. This is a dog
Conquest,
shit
already-
item.
Like there's already maintaining your lane, boxing out your lane, and all this other stuff. But
This
then you
item is
add
ass.
this additional while I'm doing it, I can make the number go up.
That's
And
right.
That to me, that just it's like
No, it doesn't
checking
gain
off
power.
something on
It
the
gains
checklist.
attack
Brain
speed
happy.
for every
Exactly.
auto.
So, but
And
that
you
is
land
not
on a
the
god.
only
It's
new
dog
item.
shit.
So we
Yeah.
do have one more new item called Equinox. Now, what is Equinox?
You can see it doesn't
So,
gain
first
power
things
because
first,
their
what Brad
power
talked
isn't
about
going
is
up.
that Equinox is a katana, and you might say,
A katana.
"Learn me." There
What?
are 4 katanas already. Golden Blade is out, my friends.
Bye-bye.
No more Golden Blade.
We sold it at the pawn.
This is a bit of a tough decision for us, honestly,
yeah.
because we know that Golden Blade is an item that has existed for a long time. It's been a favorite of many a junglers between your Mercuries and your Kali's, Arachnes,
Yeah.
Bakasuras, etc. And even had a brief
What
stint in
is-
the solo lane for a while.
You better
But
show me the
ever
best
since the
item I've ever
introduction
seen in
of
that
Golden
katana tree, and
Shard,
there's
it
been
felt
some
like
fucking
its
nuts
purchase
items in
rate
this
has just
katana
kind of
tree.
fallen off a cliff.
Mhm.
And it just has not been a necessary pickup. And we thought, well, we might as well add something. in
It's
its
'cause it
place
has
that feels
5
like a
power.
fun new replacement for it, and
Yeah.
that, my friends, is Equinox.
Is Equinox.
Yeah, I think there might be a lot of semi-upset people in the chat right now being like, oh, I really love Golden Blade, but trust me, you're going to love this more. On the same
Where's
guard
the
that you bought
passive?
Golden Blade on, you're probably going to buy this item too. And I will argue that it's a lot better, and I think it's a lot more fun as well.
Where's the passive?
Exactly.
Very fun item.
We're
Stats
taking a
are
look at the
basic.
Stats here, 2,200 gold. It's about the same kind of stat
Basic?
level. Yeah, it's the same exact stats.
What's
that
the
you are
passive?
getting from Golden Blade. And you'll see exactly why. But if we flip over to the next lower third to see the passive here, there are 2 of them. But you probably are wondering, how does this trigger? Well, you guys know backstab, right?
What the
Passive,
fuck?
you hit someone from the front, it does something different from the back. It's kind of the same idea here, where when you attack an enemy with a basic attack from the front, you're actually going to heal a little bit. So if you're sitting there boxing someone, mono
Wait,
a
it
mono,
hits for
fighting it out,
75?
you're going to be healing a little
Hold
bit.
on.
Just a little bit though, and it's doubled against God. So if you're actually
Hold
doing this
on.
against God,
Hold
it's
on.
going to feel a
This
lot
is
better.
actually
That's the same
fucking
thing.
broken as fuck.
But if you are attacking an enemy in the other direction,
It is for
it's gonna be doing extra damage,
75.
which is going to be feeling very nice, especially if they
Bro,
start
I'm
to run
gonna
away
fuck
from you, or
you
you're a character
from
that can get
behind.
behind someone, like a wheeler,
I'm
for
gonna
example, and
arachne
do a
fuck
feather
you. You're
step,
gonna
stop
spider
them from the
crawling up
back,
your
Any
ass.
of those kind of things. That's going to be also a nice little burst of damage there. So it's been so much fun.
It has been,
Just
yeah.
being able to even
And it
even
heals
in
for
solo lane, being able to
44
box a little bit better with
if
this
it's hitting
item,
a
and they start
god.
running away from you, and you're like, oh, this is just what I wanted actually.
Exactly.
And now you take a little bit of extra damage
Even
when
as-
you're running away.
Yeah, even as the person facing it, you kind of have to play that game with yourself.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It's
you don't wanna
basic
sit there
attack,
and
so
box
Loki
yourself
doesn't
and
gain
not
as
get
much
it.
value.
You have to kind of do the math in your head, like, am I going to win that trade eventually, or do I need to turn around and run, take the extra damage?
Bro,
and just fight as fast as possible?
75
It's
at
really
late
fun
game is
dynamic
kind
to
of
play with.
crazy,
I've been
dude.
playing it in the soul lane. It is enjoyable. In the jungle, I think it's really strong.
That's
because
gonna be
right
good
now,
on
most of
Mercury,
the time
too.
I want to run away from you.
That's
You're
gonna
doing
be-
extra damage. But also, one
I
thing
don't
we
know how
haven't
you'll
talked
fit it
about
in a
is that
Merc
there'll
build
also be
yet,
extra
but
damage
that's gonna be an
from
interesting item.
behind a jungle camp or a jungle
Kali,
buff.
it's gonna be
There's a lot of
crazy on
subjective
Kali.
damage as well. It is
Actually, it's
clue
probably
when
best
you're
on
hitting
Kali.
A jungle camp in the jungle, so there's a lot of sustain throughout.
It's
the game.
guaranteed 2
Around the-
autos, so it's
everywhere on the map.
guaranteed
It kinda changes the way
150
you play, changes the way
extra
you play
damage
the
late
which
game.
is really fun.
Exactly. It definitely has been very impactful, and we've noticed in a lot of our playtesting that when you're fighting Gold Fury, Pyromancer,
Actually, it's probably more than
Firefight, any of these
it's
really big
probably
boss objectives, and you
225.
are doing it with a
You're
tank,
probably hitting 3 autos
it has
and not
made it
stun.
very significant. Like we've noticed a difference in our playtests where before, carries are kind of the people doing the really big DPS to it, and sometimes your basic attack assassins can contribute.
Bro,
with
this is
mannequins or whatever it may
wild.
be, but this item will also help contribute to that as well. Even
This
as
is-
a tank, if you're building,
it's
this item,
every
you're going to be
auto with
doing
no
that extra
cooldown?
damage. It does not scale off of your own damages and scale off of really anything. It's just flat damage.
Yeah, just your attack speed, really.
And you can't build these
How
items
quickly
on
you're attacking.
hunters,
So I
right?
could see this on
Thank
like
God.
Amas, Gilgamesh's,
I don't know how it would even work on hunters, but thank God.
Picking this up, and it'll feel very, very nice.
That's right.
Yeah, I think it was actually a playtest. I
And
think
it
I was against
procs on
you, Rowan,
minions,
so
it
I was
looks like,
playing
too, right?
Surtur solo, I went like
Did I do something bad? It wasn't me.
no. Like,
you just
like,
extra
just the amount of
sustain.
boxing we were able to do by having this item, because I think I went like Death's Toll Equinox
Bobby.
the combo, and it's just you and I just sitting there slapping each other the whole time. So it's a really fun item just to encourage that level of fighting. And then if one person's got to run, you got to have that risk. Do I stand my ground and fight and try and sustain, or do I run?
Oh
into
yeah,
risk taking
extra damage on
Yeah, I think
objectives.
there's a lot in this patch that just really encourages you to get in there, play the game, and fight.
Yeah.
Like,
Get-
this
get
is
into those
kind of a
combat
big
scenarios.
buff to
I
AA
think it's really
gods.
fun.
That's
Yeah,
a
I
little.
couldn't agree more. And
AA
I couldn't be more
assassins
excited
and
about these
warriors.
two items.
Wait,
there are
warriors
a
are gonna
lot-
build
There are
it.
a lot of gods in Smite. We've already
No!
talked about. There are a lot of items in Smite though as well. And for y'all to be able
No!
to pop off and just make 2 new items.
Solos
that
just
both
got
sound
more damage for no
insanely fun to play
reason,
with,
man.
I'm just super excited to hop in and start playing with these. So
Hi,
next
Rez.
Tuesday,
Fuck
probably. Really close. All right,
you.
anyway, we got some more items
Bro.
to talk about. And we're gonna move on to Erendite. actually,
Zolas are just
coming
gonna
up
melt
next,
fucking
in
mages
some more
even
traditional
faster. Good
Dynasty
luck.
ways.
Yeah, so we've got our 2 new
Oh,
items off the board, and now we're
shit.
back to ye old Erendite in the Gem of Fate tree. So this
That's a
item
big
has
buff,
kind of
'cause that
had a
item
hard
is too
time
expensive.
finding its place into builds.
Yeah.
It has a very unique stat spread.
It's still
and
only
even
good on,
back
like,
to
Ravana and a few other
recently added
gods.
Movement speed to the actual base of the item and took a little bit off of the passive. It just still hasn't seen very much success, which is a little bit disappointing to see. So we're just doing a couple small buffs here and there. None of these buffs in particular are really that big individually, but together
I don't
we're
know,
hoping that we
Kugas.
see a little bit more action from this item, especially with the damage going up, the duration, and the price going down all at the same time. Theoretically, something here is
Yeah,
bound to hit
but-
the dartboard.
I think
Oh,
this
yeah,
item
Nem
is
buff, too.
strong,
I
and
didn't
we're
even-
making it a little
didn't
bit
process
stronger, but
Nem, I
it's
don't know why.
competing with some really strong items like
Yes.
Jotuns and
Nem
and
with that
Hydras
new
and Red
item is
and
actually
things
really
like
good,
that.
too.
And when you have a Boomba's Hammer as well, then already you're at 40% cooldown, so it was hard to fit this Arendite in, but at least this it gives you another choice, basically. Yes, it is strong, it is getting a little bit stronger, but that's because the other items are so strong too. So just experiment a bit. You know. play
Holy
with some
fuck,
different
Hi-Rez doing
Having
jungle
lots
shit, but
of
also
good
indirectly
choices is never
buffing
bad.
warriors because they're
right.
fucking
Never
assholes.
bad. Now, quick interruption of this. I got a news report recently. The JMac is still trying to get stacks. Is that right?
I actually just finished. It took about
Oh,
7
we've done
minutes.
it.
It took about 7 minutes of strictly auto attacking.
Wait, that put him at
not
cap
doing
attack
anything else.
speed?
So
Beautiful.
it's possible, but you got to dedicate about 7 minutes of your life, and this is with no stims. It's not like I grab, like an Artemis or an Izanami.
Still, you're never hitting. You're never even hitting 300
it's just
stacks in a real
standing
game.
there and holding left click for 7 minutes.
7 minutes.
Yep.
There's one important thing to note on this screen, and that's there's one item in JMac's inventory, and he is at capped attack speed. That
That's
sounds crazy and broken.
Yeah.
You're never hitting
And
it.
I think I would just say I would challenge the community. This is me, Brave, first time on the Passion show. I will challenge the
You're gonna
community to do
challenge
it.
the community?
Get 999, break it.
Yes.
Do it.
You heard it here
We can
first.
adjust it if we need to. If you can get 999 and get 2.5 attack
Adjust
speed from
it.
one item, I'll be very impressed.
I want to see it genuinely, please.
Yeah, up the amount and the stacks, just lower them.
I've been we've been getting a silver branch bow request.
Yeah.
Oh, I can go back and get that.
All right, let's do that right now. See, this is why we love you, chat, because you challenge us to see things that are crazy. So again,
Cap
I
stacks,
love the
dude.
challenge.
Look at that, that's
You're
a lot
just
of
never
fun.
hitting
Fully
it.
stack a silver branch.
That's right.
If you could hit it, if it was
Again, that's
realistic, or even get
999.
half
Yeah,
realistically, that would be a solid
Good luck.
Not
item, I
even
think.
counting like the
But
first 5 to 6
it's
minutes. that it
taking you
takes to get
40
that
minutes to get to
Yeah.
300 stacks or
It takes as much money to
200
get this
stacks,
item as it does
250 tops, you're
consistently,
fucked.
exclusively auto attacking an unmoving, undying god.
Yeah, good luck, Chad. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
Genuinely, though, if you guys do it, I want to watch the whole VOD. Please post it on YouTube.
It's gonna take you
Post it
200
on Twitch.
hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're gonna be in one match for 2 hours.
On Stormseeker.
Have a chance.
999. We'll shout you out, dude. I will shout you out if you can pull that off in like a legitimate game. So, okay, cool. That was the breaking news update. JMac, thank you for your hard work.
Yay.
You have you've
We've
left
done
an
it.
impression on the face of the battleground.
World record.
Okay, diving back into item balance, we're moving from Erendite onto
Yeah, you gotta
Gem
keep the
Iso.
item to keep the
Yes,
stacks.
these next two items, they kind of go hand in hand.
All right, let's talk
Item
about
has the
Gem of
stacks.
Iso and Frostbound Hammer.
They
What do
shouldn't even have a
in common, I
cooldown.
wonder?
Shouldn't even have a
They make
cooldown.
enemies slow.
Makes no
And
sense
here's
that
the
it has a
thing.
cooldown.
They have
Makes
not
no
been
sense.
very good as of late.
Yeah,
They've been
because
kind
you
of
randomly
falling.
added cooldowns to these items
a
after
lot of
10
this
years.
has changed since we did the
Even then, they
adjustment to
weren't
make
good,
Frostbound
before
complete,
cooldowns.
Yeah.
And the way that we adjusted Gem of Iso very similarly as
These
well.
changes
But
don't make
the way
them
that this is
usable. You
different
can't
now
use them,
is
so.
It still functions in that same exact way where it pops when you hit an ability, but now you can
Still
have
trash.
a 100% uptime on it if you are constantly refreshing within the
Trash.
2.5 seconds for Gem of
don't
Isolation
care.
or the 3
Still
seconds
trash.
for Frostbound Hammer.
Okay.
So assuming that you are sitting
Trash.
and
Shouldn't have a
able to
cooldown.
keep up with
Trash.
the individual, if they move away but you're able to catch up and keep up with them, you can reapply it again after that 3 seconds to essentially have that uptime.
Yeah.
Right. It also means for like Gem of Iso, for example, if you have a dot that lasts at least 3 seconds.
Frostbound was not always good.
At the last tick of that
You're
dot,
drunk.
you're going to reapply Gem of Isolation and slow them again, which is an interesting buy. Like it'll be fun to see if people actually buy the item and experiment.
And I'm
with
talking about
ones
more
they
of
can-
Gem of Iso than
just
I am
change their build
Frostbound.
up. Same thing with
Gem of
talking about
Iso
with Ironbite, there are a
was
lot of
never
good
purchased,
items in these
not
builds already.
relevant or useful in
Add a little bit
anybody's
of
builds, and then they
variety
added a
to these
cooldown
styles.
to it. Like it was fucking OP.
Yeah, I'm all about
So buy you $1. Thank you for the 30 months. Blast, thank you for the 10 months.
So we're moving on now to Fighter's Mask, the spooky, scary mask.
Yeah, so this is probably an item that I don't know that
Fourth, maybe?
I've ever seen.
Nobody builds this item.
ever,
It's trash.
unless someone
it's so
is
scary.
doing a haha funny for content, which that's
Funny
come up
for
a couple of
content.
times. But one of the biggest problems with Fighter's Mask is that you feel pretty okay in the early game. You get it, and you're
bad.
like, yeah, this is fine, and then you get to level 20. And you don't have Ranger's Mask yet, you're like, oh my god, I
die in
am
one
taking
shot,
Yeah.
so much
I'm
damage.
getting whooped.
So much damage. So that is one of the things that we wanted to heavily decrease here is that the early game felt fine. Not a big
Dorman.
deal either way.
Thank you for
So
the
what
54.
we're doing here is we're decreasing the damage taken per
I don't think this
level.
matters.
So as you get later into the game, you're taking less damage, but you're also dealing less damage at the beginning of the game by 1%. So a very small nerf to the
No,
damage that you're
Oboe
dealing
does not
upfront
proc the new
to
item. The new item
decrease
is
the damage that
basic
you're taking by
attacks.
quite a significant amount by the end of the game.
Not
That's right,
item
yeah, it would
procs.
just ease that
Not
transition
damage from
into
abilities.
Upgrading the starter item.
Auto
Because
attacks.
Once you got it upgraded, it felt great. In the early game, Fighter's Mask felt great. It was just that midpoint where it was really rough. where
You
were
know who
taking
will
so much
stack that
damage
new
and,
item?
And I keep going back to me
Nut.
wanting to get people to fight more. in
Nut
the
will
game.
stack that new
You were
item.
almost discouraged from fighting. You just wanted to farm and get level 20 and get the gold to upgrade your starter because you were taking so much damage. But this allows
Assuming
you
it
to actually
counts.
get in there, use the damage boost with a little bit less risk.
Izanami doesn't proc on backswings on any
Again,
items.
All about fight. That's just the best part of the game for me is the skirmishes, the brawls. So every time you say encouraging fighting,
That one is an auto attack in the middle, so I'd assume so.
So now we're moving into kind of a whole tree of relic. We have Divine Barrier and all of its trees or the items in the tree getting touched a little bit.
Yeah, so this is Divine Barrier, Greater Divine Barrier, and Blessed Barrier. All three of them getting a similar adjustment here between their deploy range getting increased. It was originally very low because we were concerned about this item being a bit of a combat trick. You know, you throw it out and slow people, and we kind of wanted people to play around it in a little bit of a different way. But as we've kind of seen this item grow and seen people try this item, we've realized that it's definitely okay to have players play around it that way.
Couldn't you just go this to burn objectives like
but
crazy
also we
too?
wanted to kind of take
I don't
the
see
cooldown
anyone do
down a
that.
little bit to just give you a little bit more chance to, like
right,
Rose said, play with it more often.
Lots of crazy stuff in this patch.
To wherever
Bro,
you
if you like Smite at all, there's no way this patch doesn't interest you.
And then
If you don't like this patch or you don't like Smite right this moment, you probably just don't like Smite.
That unique
You won't like Smite too.
at that tier 3 level with the rest of the relics. We want to make sure that tier 3 feels like it has a strong effect that you can definitely use
What
in
up,
a variety
Tommy?
of situations. And while it's only for the range space
Thank you,
attacks that are
Tommy.
getting this
3
buff,
months, baby.
it's still going to feel pretty nice when you're putting this in front of your mage or your carry and they're slamming down a Phoenix, slamming down a Fire Giant, whatever it might be.
Awesome. Well, that was a barrierific three-peat of changes, and now we're on to the last
All right.
two items, which are
Yeah, it's a Thoth wall, but it has like a defensive
we're in the shard
traits.
world now, and we're starting with Vision Shard.
Bobby
which
likes
I
it.
feel like is gonna, Vision Shard. We have the Bull Demon King Vision Denial aspect. So a lot of Vision changes. It feels like.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
let's
think
go
we'll come back to
Vision
this one
Shard. Well, they
in
just
the
added
patches.
Bull Demon King that can
It's been
clear
very close.
wards.
We've touched it a lot of times, and that's because we're doing a change to it that we're like, oh my god, that's gonna make it so good, and then it goes up by this much.
You don't get gold for Vision
let's try
Shard
something
wards, right?
else.
Like if you
Let's try
kill
something
them.
else. And so we are once again trying something else, and this is going to be increasing the vision radius of it from 35
Yeah.
to 45. 45 is the radius of a normal ward. It's just going to feel so much more intuitive now.
Vision Shard is
The
sleeper item?
places that you can put it down.
I don't know about
you're not
that,
gonna
bro.
have to actually really do that much adjusting.
I think the
when
real
it comes
sleeper
to,
is the people
oh, my
laning
vision
that
shard is much smaller.
get
it's not
ganked
gonna cover
anyway.
so much space. It's not a big of a deal anymore because you can place it the same exact way that you place down normal wards.
Yeah.
It's going to feel very great, I hope.
Yeah, our experienced players that have been playing for a long time and placing wards that whole time, they know how big that 45 unit feels, right? And they just
You feel
kind of
like
flick
some
their
of these
mouse
are
or
rolling
their
out Smite
controller
2
and
changes
place the
early.
board over a wall. But if you did that with Vision Shard, you were kind of just leaving gaps on the outside, and there were gaps for junglers, and you could never be fully confident in your vision. And I think that just made this shard.
If you
a
just
little
go
worse.
watch
So
the
bringing
over-the-shoulder
that up to that
gameplay
45
from
makes it more
Worlds
intuitive,
on
like
Smite
Randy
2,
said. It just makes
then
it easier to use, so you don't have to. Have
you
that
would
extra
know a
thought
lot more
oh, I
about
need to
what
place
Smite
it
2
this
is
far
going to
forward,
be.
Or I can't block off this path and this path at once. I have to choose one of them. So it'll make it more useful in more situations, and hopefully people will ward more. And then whatever happens with the Bull Demon.
This patch is next Tuesday.
They'll eliminate those wards.
Yeah, we'll figure it out from there. But ward more. All right, so there's one last thing, and
No, I haven't touched the
I feel like
finals.
you could relate this to Vision. It's Wing Shard, but like you don't need a ward on Fire Giant if you just run there.
Wait, they're
really
buffing
fast.
Wing Shard again?
Yep,
They
and that's why
just
nobody's
reduced the
buying wards.
cooldown last patch.
Yeah, that's it.
The shard was kind of a superstar when it first came out.
Yeah.
Very, very strong because it was at this 15% movement speed originally. And we very quickly nerfed it down. And then since
Intersect
then, it's
reacted to
kind
my
of
reaction?
been
No, I didn't know
a
he
little
did
bit less
that.
potent than it was before. It
Right.
definitely fell behind Horn Shard and even Claw Shard to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Back when that was a thing. Throwback a little bit. But now that it's kind of competing with the passive shards, it just has not kept up. And so we feel like we can finally bring that extra power back, that extra bit of aggression, that burst of speed to be able to really start a fight if you want to, or run away if you so choose to.
Yep, and 15% attack speed, movement speed seems like a lot, but it's only for 3 seconds. Like, it's really not that big of a deal.
Short burst.
Yeah, so bringing it back and just allowing people to play with another shard, give that more variety, a little bit of spice.
Golden Blade isn't being used on
I'm
anybody,
all for
bro.
it, 'cause like
That's
you
why they
said, it's
removed
either
it.
I'm
Nobody's
gonna get in
building
there
it.
and
It's
get
not
you,
core or meta on anybody.
I'm gonna get out of here. I'll see you later. So, and equally likely to happen, especially considering with this whole new fight thing we're working towards, being able to trade a little more. I'll definitely be doing a lot more.
Wing
running
Shard is
games in the
awesome.
1v1.
You
I
get
was
it in
really
most
confident before
junglers.
that
You get it
did.
on all the
So, cool. Well,
ADCs.
we've talked
I mean,
about
all of them, but a lot of
game
them.
modes. We've talked about items, and now we're going to take a little break from the balance world. Obviously, we still have
What?
some gods we're going to talk about later. Don't you worry. But we're going to kind of step outside of the balance zone and go back to the skin section, the event section.
Go
So,
fuck yourself.
Next up,
Maybe we'll talk about him.
that little guy down there? No, I doubt it. Probably not. I feel like I'm gonna betray my words by saying that let's talk about the Dapper Denizens event or cross-gen pass. I almost said event pass. It is an event. It's a cross-gen pass. You know what cross-gen passes are, though. You've seen them before. They're coming.
Bro, they
every
turned the
single
show to a
update. It's,
buzzkill.
this year's version of the battle pass, but now
You're
they're
hyped up
cross-gen
for the
passes,
start.
which I
They
know
hit you
it's
with snoozer
on 3 other
skins.
shows, I get it, but you know, it's just
They
to
give you
reinforce
like
and
a
remind
release,
that
you know, something hype
all
release
skins
Smite 2,
in
and then they hit you with assault
cross-gen.
changes.
So that Smite 2 thing that we keep talking about,
And we
are
get crazy
infinitely
other
hyped about
changes,
is
and now we're back into
available
skins.
for pre-order on Monday. These are skins are going to have available for that. So, you know, hop in these alpha tests and have a little fun with these cool Dapper Denizens we're about to talk about. So again, make sure to check out the pass. It will be launching on Tuesday with the update. And it's going to involve 2 skins, one of which you might have seen somewhere already, although I'm not quite sure where. And that is Dapper Catter Bacchus.
He's just
There he
such a goofy little guy.
Look at the little mice. Oh my goodness. Is that on her?
Could be.
Little on her cameo, little set cameo.
See a
as
little
well.
set over the side.
Dude, he's so dapper.
He
My
is
gosh.
so dapper.
I think Bacchus might have our biggest variety of weapons in the game.
Maybe the biggest variety of cat skins, too. Specifically.
He's got a bunch of them, yeah.
He really does have a lot of like animal style skins in general.
Yeah.
He's got the the bear skin, the cat skin. Those are the 2 that immediately popped to mind. I was trying to think of what other ones he had.
Well, there's 2 bears. There's the alive bear, the zombie bear.
True.
There's 2 different versions of the cat. Bacchus just makes for a nice cuddly animal.
Indeed, and this one is very fun. I like his little mustache.
Yeah, I like the
Bro,
tie clip.
shut
that's
the
also like a
fuck
belt.
up.
So,
Cute.
what an absolutely dapper gentleman.
There's no way if someone looks at their
alright, so I
analytics
believe
that they don't see their
there it is. I
viewership
was gonna
drop
say, we
off
get to see
during this.
in game, and that's Bacchus. All
And that
right.
tongue is just out all the time, it seems, as well.
Yeah, you don't see that
That's a
confident
shot.
stance in anybody but Bacchus.
Oh man, he's had a little bit too much of that catnip, you might say.
It's true. That's a catnip tea in the jar.
Oh,
actually.
very
Yeah.
fancy, very fancy. I like
Oh,
his
yeah.
little fish as well. Very cute.
His little fish. True. All right. Well, I'm a big fan of the dapper stuff, so I think that this is worth seeing in game. So I want to dive right into it.
Oh yeah.
Taking a bite already.
Bit of a snack.
just a mid fight snack.
Mid-fight snack.
Oh yeah, look at him go.
I love this. I want.
Oh, he throws the fish up.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
Hey,
so
throws it
cool.
You
Yeah.
know how in every movie,
And back
when the
on.
awkward,
Dang.
like not social
Talented as
person gets
well
in a
as dapper.
conversation and they talk in that
Sometimes
voice?
not at all.
Oh yeah. It's time to party.
It's time to party.
Yep.
The
Oh my
cat
god, the
man.
meow.
Yeah.
Look at the coin FX as well.
True.
That's so fun. Oh, on the hits as well, dude.
Got the riches, dude.
He's stealing your money. Not actually, but he's stealing your money.
He's just so wealthy that every time you.
Oh, gotta chase him down.
I like how there's a pile of cash in the middle of the ult too, where you leave it.
Bye, Odin.
We will
He's taking a field trip.
Odin can't handle it.
Too much of his money.
He just got paid.
Farewell, Odin.
He just got paid to leave. But yeah, there's a little pile of cash.
Aw,
Coin
that's so
sound.
fun.
Too.
Yeah.
Dude, the like clinging
satisfying, yeah.
of the sound.
Why are we looking at this?
Coin shake, very nice.
Like
Oh, the
genuinely,
laugh.
not over the top reaction. Why are we
I
looking
used
at
to own
this?
2 top hats, and I could not find either of them to wear today because I would have had one on my head.
Just
right
like-
now. So
Why?
super fun, absolutely love it.
This is
Gonna
not a
have to
cool
go find
skin.
where I can buy this suit, and gonna have to look at this in Smite 2 now. I think. Let's
Oh,
check
yes,
out the
please.
render.
Let's take a look. I love this pose.
Why do they go so hard with the poses for these? Like every time.
Dang.
Yeah, that is really cool.
That is excellent. Dude, I can't wait to see what his wine looks like as well, or his tea, I guess, in this case.
Yeah, and shout out. I'm gonna pull a page from the Learn Me book here and shout out. Just look at the fur.
The
like, on
7
the hands
Bacchus players
specifically.
going
Like that's
Yeah.
crazy
just such
right now.
well-defined fur. It's just absolutely gorgeous
The
looking.
fish has scales.
Yeah, even the scales
The
on the
fish has
fish, like
scales, I
all the way
think.
down to that minute detail. It's so cool.
And how shiny I think we already talked about that, but I just absolutely 10 out of 10. Dapper gentleman.
Yeah,
Fish on the jug as well, just
I
nice
don't know
fucking
why
fish.
we've gotten deeper and deeper
All
into
right,
these
so now
skins
we're moving on
in
to
every
the
patch
second
notes.
skin that you will find in this wonderful cross-gen pass.
From a
This one
production
is
value
dear
and a
friend
viewer
Vizier
value,
and
it is ass.
Pickington Raw.
Oh, yeah.
Another
Nice, Raw got his
Another
46
banger
skin, guys.
for Raw. But
More
this
candy.
one might be the
Nice.
best one, honestly. I don't know, man. I know that Raw has some good laugh spams, but this one's got to be top tier.
This one
surely.
has to be top tier. And again, more cameos. We have Wukong and Fenrir in the back there.
I don't even care if the skin is good. It's on Raw. He's got a million good skins.
Refined gentleman.
Oh, and now Ra gets to be part of it too. Dude, that's so awesome.
I know. The more people that get accepted into the society of fine dining and whining
Full
is
team
just
soon.
good for me. Yeah, right?
So I know we have enough for one full team, but we're getting close to being able to
we
do, I think,
gotta
2
be.
teams now.
We have to be.
Dude, that's awesome.
That's going to be the best world, honestly. That's the world. That's a Smite 2 world. A team where both teams can dress to the nines to duel. It's absolutely incredible.
I'm so excited.
Me too. And
Oh, yeah.
look at it.
The little pipe as well.
Look, I'm not mad that they're promoting their skins. I'm mad that they do it for so long.
Oh, man. I love this theme so much. And he really does look good in that little dapper suit. There's no better word.
Yeah, I wonder if any of our concept artists have ever like moonlighted as suit designers, because every time they release a character wearing a suit,
Oh, really good fit.
I'm like I would, that it's so drippy. I would wear that to the finest event. I don't know. If I ever won the
Wait.
biggest prize imaginable, like whatever.
Is
you
this
can
a
think of, I
Smite
would wear
2
that suit to
skin?
that. So just saying.
How
if
many
y'all,
skins does
y'all
Raw
are
have in
trying to
Smite
make
2
some
already?
scratch on the stage, go design suits professionally. I can see this on stage.
No, they haven't said anything about
I
Nemesis.
just absolutely love this.
Oh, yeah.
He does
So,
look like a pigeon.
You know, I like the dapper.
It is a
thing.
pigeon.
I already said that once. You know, I had to say, listen, we have to go in game for both of these, and they said yes, so we're going in game for another one. Let's check this one out.
Yeah, there he is.
Look at
In
him.
all his glory.
In all of his glory.
A falcon, my ass, is a pigeon.
Cool.
A monocle on a big
Beautiful.
like bird eye like that is just something else.
Oh, I love it. All right, let's see those effects. I'm excited. Ooh.
All coins in there. I see.
Yeah.
More coins.
Oh, they splash
They
coins
do
against them.
slash coins. That's so awesome. Imagine being wealthy enough.
Oh, my gosh.
I love the way it sounds like it's dragging through a coin pile.
Clink, clink, clink. Love that.
There's some multicolor, and there's that buttons in there as well.
These just different gemstones.
Oh, my
Oh,
God.
those
Gemstones.
yeah.
Dude.
Dang.
Yes. All right.
That is so awesome.
Give us a 3. Floating money. Everyone
Floating
grab
money.
it.
Oh, it's like
They
those games
all
at
have the
mall.
same
Oh.
animation, by the way.
Gonna be standing there like
The exact same animation
I need
was used 4 times
$4.
Oh, my goodness.
Yo, imagine
Right. Let's see that
with
ultimate.
default
Yeah.
colors.
Boom.
all
Yeah,
you got the gems popping out too.
Illusion of
Oh, that's so cool.
Dude, I want to also give a very special shout out to
What was that?
to
Don't get me
our
wrong,
boy
the
Mifflin.
animation,
This
if it was on one
Mifflin's
ability
first
and all the rest were
ever
different, would be sick.
official God character voice pack. Congratulations,
Congrats,
Mifflin.
Mifflin.
And what a banger voice pack it is.
And I mean, we all know how refined he is. We saw him on the birthday stream with the art. He's a man who has defined quality for the better things in life. So it makes sense that he would write a skin pack for something so refined.
So refined.
That is simply devilish.
Devilish.
Device, but it's wasted on you.
Oh, what a taunt animation.
One would think you were aiming to entertain.
What's the laugh? Hit me with the laugh.
Oh no.
No.
Oh no, it's so over.
What a harsh contrast between simply devilish and then. That's
Oh,
so
man.
cursed.
That is a good laugh spam. I'm
That
so
is-
excited.
That is all around 10 out of 10 banger. And you know that this is in Smite 2, and you know we're going to look at the render for Smite 2.
Yes,
so let's
please.
let's check that out.
Yeah, baby.
I can't get over the laugh. That's going to be stuck in my head all day now.
That will definitely be in Smite.
Oh, man.
It's just an extra level of detail. It always impresses me.
Yeah, I just like looking at them. But again, if you think looking at this is, I mean, this is just one frame. This is a beautiful render,
What's up,
but it
Mattis?
doesn't give justice
Thank you
to
for the
what
Prime
it looks
sub.
like alive. Like this is, renders are one of those things that I feel like you can, you're like, oh, it's a render. You can make it look prettier by staging it just
Oh, you
right.
just mean-
whatever. But no, that's not how this works. You get these in game. You play like I've been able to play around with a few of them as we've done testing and stuff. and they
Calm
really do
down,
just
man. Your
transfer to the
excitement
game
is
looking
oozing.
just as
Dude,
beautiful
every
as
skin,
in
10
this,
out of 10.
professional
Super
headshot.
exciting,
So-
crazy,
Yeah.
cool.
We're talking
I
about
love
these
this
last two skins that
colorway.
have all these coin effects.
This
With the new
color
lighting
is
engine, I might as well
great.
just the reflections on
His
the coin
abilities
that
are
look
so
like
cool.
that
I'm
as
excited.
well. Especially in Raz 3, it must look really, really
And I
cool.
can't
Super
even imagine
exciting.
the sounds too. Like
Can't
imagine,
wait for it to
like,
come
through a
out.
corner, you're hearing the jingles of a raw.
Like a horror movie, actually. Yeah.
The jingles of a raw. All right, well, cool. So this is the Dapper Denizen Cross Gen Pass. That'll be coming again next Tuesday with the 11.4 update. Get it and play through the pass. Buy it all at once if you feel like it. Completely up to you, but that will be available right around the corner. So now we're stepping back into the land of design and balance.
We are so
Whoever's
back.
pacing
We
these
are
patch
so
notes can
back.
fuck themselves.
So, like last time, we're going to start off with just a little nerf. We have a nerf we want to talk about before we dive
Yes.
into some other stuff. So, let's just get right into it then. Pele.
What's up,
Yes, this is
Lonely?
going to
Thank you
seem
for becoming a
very
member.
Yes.
I understand completely. You're going to be like, Lermy, Pele, what do you mean? And I'm going to go, okay, I apologize in advance. We're not going to talk about why she's
we still
getting
need to
nerfed for
try
a
attack
little bit,
speed payload.
but this was just the best place to put the nerf. So
it was.
Eruption is getting nerfed because, spoiler alert, we're doing a bit of a timing pass throughout the game. And what's happening is
What?
that Eruption is going to be getting sped up quite a bit.
Yeah.
So she is getting a bigger change than
Oh.
perhaps 90% of the gods
Your
in that
two's
timing
gonna go
pass,
off
so
faster?
she's getting a nerf in accordance with that. And we'll talk about that more when we get to that section. But again, I totally understand this looks really weird, especially for those that are slamming the games all the time and they're like, Paley's
They're just
like,
making
fine,
it
like,
easier to
what are
hit,
you
I
doing?
assume.
What are you doing?
With this change, she would definitely be a little bit too good. So we want to preemptively nerf her because we understand what's going to
Justified, for sure.
be adjusted is going to be a very big change for her.
What's coming up in this same patch really soon, we'll talk about in a second.
Yes.
So let's just dive into the normal buffs now. So, stew on that. We'll get there in a second. And let's talk about Izanami now, who's having some balance shift.
So this has been a very interesting back and forth with Miss Iza over the past year or so.
Yes.
We did a nerf to her that kind of took her out of the meta for a while, and then
I
we
think
did an
these
adjustment
changes
coming
make
into year
sense and
11
don't
where
change too
everyone gets
much.
to lane at level 2, so she kind of lost her
It
very
helps
Identity.
new
special
players
reason
have a god to play
kind
that
of get
isn't
picked when it
complete
comes
shit
to
at low
early game
levels,
clear. So
but
what
then
we're doing
is
here
shit
is we're actually
at high
giving her a
levels.
little bit more utility to kind of still let her have that identity,
Right.
but not quite lean her into this incredible, super oppressive early game clear just as much, and give her a little bit more utility going into other spaces as well.
Yeah, she still has her early game clear. You can still play with that, but now you'll fight on that early game clear. When you've cleared the
Exactly.
wave and the enemy hasn't, your fight will just be that little bit stronger. And that's what we're trying to focus on. And we've talked about risk versus reward a lot in this patch. The dash cooldown going down. You can actually get in there and dash out in the early game, and you get 2 seconds sooner for that dash to come back up.
Exactly. And this is also especially good if an Iza gets rolling as well for spectral projection change, because not only is that going up to 20% at the base, but
Slow is
let's say
insane
you're
in the
getting
max
some kills
stacks now?
in the early game, you
Is
get
it?
2 of those bad boys, that's a 40% slow, which is
Yeah, I guess.
kind of a little bit crazy. So
Yeah.
we're definitely excited to see if those Izanamis can get rolling and get that spectral projection going, making enemies go rather slow.
That's right.
Rather
All right,
slow.
so this next one, Lermy, I have a weird feeling that you might be at least a
Yes.
little familiar with.
Yes,
this
just
one
a
does
bit.
those.
Just a hair. So we have Yu Huang getting us some changes.
Yu
Really
Huang, Yu
above.
Huang, Yu Huang. Where do I start? So he is definitely a character that is rather challenging for people to play, mostly around the
That's a big
Dao
buff.
management, because his abilities when
Maybe
they're
not
enhanced
huge,
with
but
his
it's a nice
passive
buff.
are pretty solid. They're
I
they're
am
pretty
gonna do a
chunky. They can
sponsored
hit hard,
gigantic
they get a
stream
little bit
tomorrow night.
extra, whether it's the knock-up damage pen, width on the ultimate, there's a lot of different things
Is
that you
Yuan
can
good
get
now?
from using his passive well. But the problem is that
I
it just
don't think
takes such
so.
a long time to either let the passive charge up naturally.
His
or wait
passive
for,
makes things
Dao cultivation to
easier,
actually
right?
get
Like
you
the
back up to
ult's
that point.
easier to
So what we're
hit.
doing is
It's
we're
wider,
cutting
two's
the time
wider.
it takes for him to get stacks of Dao
And you
from
get
6
AoE
seconds to
autos,
3
I don't
seconds,
know.
so that's cutting it in half again. It originally was 12 seconds, so
The one is his
just a
best
little
ability.
note there
And
that
I mean,
needed
it
to go
ticks
down by
harder,
this
but
much.
it doesn't. I
But
don't know.
it's going to
How
feel
much
a
more
lot better
damage is
because you're
that?
going to
Like,
more
would you gain like 40
consistently
damage on the
have your
ability?
Dao up to get those enhanced abilities.
I don't
and
think
have
40
more
damage
instances
makes
where you're
him
gonna be like,
insane.
Yep, that felt really
Yeah,
good.
that felt good.
But that's not it. We got more things to talk about because Flames of the
Hi-Res has
Phoenix,
literally never paid
is
me
his
for
one.
anything.
It tends to be that
I
this
wish.
ability has not been keeping up with the rest of the kind
My
of people in his
free
class when we're
voice
comparing
back
his
in the
damage
game,
numbers
my
to
charity
other
event voice back.
average mages and other meta mages. He was way far behind the meta mages, and he was slightly under average. So we're giving him a couple of touch-ups to Flames of the Phoenix and Dao cultivation here and there across the multiple stages.
That's a
of
lie.
his
I got a
abilities, 'cause of
Twitch
course,
bounty for Smite one
Flames of the
time,
Phoenix has
which has
the
nothing to do
frost
with
damage,
Hi-Res or
then it's
Smite.
got the field
It's
damage, then it's got
Twitch, but
burn.
yeah, I did get that one
There's
time.
a lot of parts to Yu Huang.
So
as
Twitch
well.
paid
you
me,
can
but
tell,
Hi-Res
like,
paid Twitch.
It gets split up a lot. So even though this damage increase doesn't look like a lot, it's going to feel like it between Flames of the Phoenix and Dao cultivation, which is on the next lower third here, which is getting some increased scaling as well. Going to feel a lot better towards the late game.
That's right. It would just hopefully bring him into the mage meta because I think the
Yes.
mage meta has been, I don't want to say stale, but it's kind of been.
No,
the same
ultra-wide
for
monitors
a
are
couple
shit
months
for
now,
gaming.
And Yu Huang has not been a part of that mage meta. So if we can bring him in a little bit, just
Yeah.
bring a little bit of variety into the lane.
Played in the SPL, so technically, nope. Hi-Res paid the orgs that I was under, and the orgs paid me.
It is nice,
Yeah.
it's hard to say no
Try
when
again.
Max says, yeah, Yu Huang's bad, and I go, so we can buff him?
Yeah, we can buff him, please. All right, so now to move away from the mages a little bit and into a wild swinging guardian, we have Maui.
Urge balls,
Yeah,
thank you for the
Maui,
sub.
another moderately recent character, you might say. Another first
Yeah.
for our designers.
Ooh, wait,
Edward, who's not
that's
here
a
with us
big
today, but,
buff
you
to
know,
his
shout out
stun.
to the boy.
Shout out to Edward.
That's
We're
a
giving
big buff
Maui
to
a
his stun.
couple
What the
of
fuck?
nice, decent, like, quality.
Andy about to go
like,
crazy.
buffs. These are not, like,
Right.
the craziest
Game
things in the world.
changing. Yeah.
But it will feel rather nice to get a little bit of extra swings going on, especially towards the late game. You're going to feel your ability to pull a little bit faster off of your passive is going to be a lot nicer, especially with that faster attack speed. It's just
Money
going
from
to be
skin
a
revenue
more,
that went to the
what's
org,
word,
and then the
like
org paid me.
flowy
Right,
series
yeah.
of events to be able to hit the mark and then yoink again.
Yeah, and his early game clear will get increased.
His one
as well,
feels
but
so
it is
bad,
scaling,
though?
so it'll
I
be
feel like his one
more
feels really
noticeable in the
good.
late game, but it just allows him to dip deeper into those like piercing auto attacks, and
Yeah.
and that'll help. And then
Yeah.
obviously
Competitive
being the
gaming
starting
monitors are
point, I think
25,
that
24 and a half to 25 inches. 27 inches are fine if you're not competitive. They're still really good. That's what I play on right now. Anything bigger, you're kind of trolling yourself.
And then it's going to feel so much better.
Dramatically.
Being able to jump a lot late game with that mana reduction. That is actually a pretty big deal. Going from 90 to 60 mana
Yeah.
when you're a support that doesn't really have many mana items.
I'm actually going to
you're
go
gonna be able
back to a
use that ability
24 and a half
much
inch
more.
monitor, but I'm going to
I
go
think the important
540
thing, too,
hertz.
is that it was always really tough as the Maui player to know what you're supposed to level because
Yeah.
you
Gem
could
sales from
level,
Nexus
you
pay
know,
from
Silver
Hi-Res?
Swing for
Nope.
the CC,
Pay
you
from
could
Nexus.
do the mystical Alua for the extra protections
Protections,
and things of that nature and the cooldown. So now it's just going to be a little bit simpler to say, okay, I've got my stun duration. I don't have to worry about that. I can actually level my clear. I can
Exactly.
level my
Yep.
utility, and I don't have to worry about my leap as much.
Yeah, same with the mana cost. That's right.
Cool. Well, hey, I like my
65-inch gamer TVs. Yeah, someone last night said they play across the room. Like, how the fuck?
Voice packs like base skin since it came out.
That was it.
But anyway, we're moving from the sea to the stables because we got to talk
All right, Zim.
Lancelot. What's going on with Lancelot?
Lancelot, yes, he has not been showing up a lot, and quite, you know, you might want to be calling him Lanta Little here, but we're doing a couple small changes, kind of across Lancelot's kit. So the first thing that you're going to see is Camelot's Quest. This is his passive. Essentially, this is stacking
Yeah,
up
Goodwill.
on minion kills and various other, you know, requirements. He's gone on a quest to fill up his stacks.
That's right.
But it actually was to get one stack, you have to kill a certain amount of minions beyond one. It's not just 1-to-1.
Yeah.
So 60 was actually turning out to be.
Yo,
closer to,
Andy's
like,
about to go
300
crazy.
minions, which is a lot
El
of
Leon's
minions,
about to
especially
be
if you're
El
jungler, when you want to find a
Lancelot.
balance going between the jungle and fighting and lanes and ganking and doing all these things. You're just not getting this passive very easily, and it is a strong passive when you can actually get to it. But it's just very frequent that you're not getting this till super late game, and we want players to have access to this just a little bit sooner. So we're bringing the stacks down by 20, which is going to be very beneficial to him, which also requires us then to shift the movement speed and the basic attack damage reduction up. This is not changing. The
Lancelot
final
does
amount
give
you're
lane
getting, it is
pressure,
just,
so it gives you bull
ending
demon
up
control.
At the same amount, just shifting
Yeah.
how much you get per stack.
Yeah, a little sooner.
Exactly. But that's not all. We've got
Not
more.
all. Ooh.
Skilled strikes. This is his 2. This is the knockback. So this is getting increased shield damage. This
I
is the
actually think
up-close
Erlang Shen
personal
Jungle is
Yeah.
coming
stuff
out
that he's
huge
doing
out of this
out back
patch.
into the Lance Slash.
Massive.
So essentially, the reason that we picked this one and the flat damage as well is because you kind of have to be very close to someone and really committed
Why are
to
they-
the combat if you're going to be.
Why are they
hitting
super
this
buffing
initial
Lancelot? I
attack.
do think Lancelot's
So we
harder to
want
play
again,
for
kind
your
of
average
encourage
player,
people to-
but
to
why are they
really
super buffing
play
him?
around that mechanic of getting
They make
the
him
initial
kinda
hit
Mickey.
into the sweet spot bonus damage, and this is just a way to kind of incentivize him. To
And I
do
don't
that
know
a
why
little
they're
bit more,
making him
to
kinda
start with
Mickey.
that and not just go for the poke.
Yeah.
And then finally, quick turn. This is when he's on his horse. Just a little bit faster turnaround if you want to be a little sneaky.
Yep.
Lancelot, walk up to someone, or rather, I guess, gallop up to someone and then turn around. And then you can turn around again in 2 seconds rather than 4 seconds.
Yeah, especially
That's
as an
really
assassin,
strong
going in
and a
out of
good
fights
quality of
a lot.
life
And
change.
If you're on your horse, going in and out of a fight, it was just like this really long U-turn, and it was like, oh, this is kind of weird when your quick turn was down. But now with it a 2-second cooldown, you can kind of U-turn. And
Would
turn
you
back
max
if
the
need to go
2
in and
now?
out. And
I don't
then
know the
eventually
ones
make
based
your
on
choice and
numbers.
decide to go all in, get up and close, and hit that shield damage.
Because
And
that's
it's a
doing
lot better
370. I don't know, and I don't know the scaling on the 2 versus the
You know,
1.
before we move on, I just got to humble, flex a little bit because I mean, I already got the achievement for the passive. So
Like your tweet.
That was a really long game though. You were like you were
Oh, I
saying
believe
all
it.
that, and I was
that
like,
would take a while.
I feel it because I told my team. I
I
was like,
clown
"Guys,
spin.
I'm
Oh, was
gunning
it
for
your
this.
TFT
You
tweet?
got me right, and they did.
That's your whole game.
It took a
yeah.
concerted effort.
Why do you have
all right, so we
5
don't have to leave the
fucking
castle
tier?
for this
Okay.
next one? We're staying in the same place and talking King Arthur now.
Yeah, from the knight to the king. This one is pretty exciting.
Pretty cool.
I gotta say.
What?
King Arthur, his basic attacks previously did not proc basic attack items. There were no, Bumbas to be had.
Mannequins, no death toll.
And guess what? Now you can.
You can jungle him.
Anything
Run
what?
King Arthur jungle, go Boomba's dagger. You can get Boomba's hammer in the end. I can't imagine that. Use an ability, Boomba's hammer, quicker cooldowns. You're just going to be spamming your abilities constantly on
What
King
the
Arthur
fuck?
jungle if you want to do that. Or you can go death toll if you need sustain in the solo lane instead of.
We had a playtest with the King Arthur jungle actually. Shout out Mwek for that one. That was a very fun game. I had a very
did pretty well
interesting
too, yeah.
jungle battle against the jungle King Arthur with proc items.
That's cool though.
It was very, very fun.
All right.
But yeah.
Yeah, nice. Another fun change.
Oh, prismatic
especially
too.
with all
That's
these
so
cool items
crazy.
coming up.
No one else had
All right,
any.
so now we're
Did
moving
5.
on to Changa with Jade Rabbit getting a little
Yes.
mix up.
Jade Rabbit does quite a lot of things.
Oh, that's
we're
good.
going
That's
to
a good
be doing
change.
a little bit to every aspect of this passive. So first things first, the rabbit movement speed is now being increased from 3.5 times Changa's movement speed to 5 times Changa's movement speed. So the bunny, it's been doing some training in the background, getting stronger during the winter, and now that it's almost the springtime.
Oh, you sold it all, spin and upgraded, yeah.
Crazy how time flies. But now this bunny is going hyperspeed, so that's going to feel really nice. Up next, though,
So is she.
Oh,
she's
fuck.
certainly going a lot faster during her dances. A lot of people don't actually know that this is part of her passive.
No,
That
yeah.
you get a little bit of extra movement speed when you're dancing. But yeah, 25% to 40% is, a
That's
pretty
a
significant
huge
change. You're not dancing
speed
for
buff.
that long, so you're not keeping it for
No, but that's
very
a
long
big
time.
jump of
For the-
a big
For
gap.
the longer dances, like her 2, I think is her longest dance, that'll feel like a bit more like
Yeah, you're gonna
kind of a
zoom
dash
out.
almost, because you're getting such a big boost in movement speed, and if you just hold that one direction key, you're gonna go forward or whatever direction you're going a decent amount. So it makes her a lot more mobile, and she is a generally pretty immobile mage, gets stuck on walls and things like that. So she still has that downside, but this will make it so that she can rotate faster if you are able to spam your abilities. You can sit on the edge of a team fight easier because you can kind of go in and out with your abilities. So all in all, just a straight buff. And if you didn't know that it gave movement speed before, you will feel it now.
Yeah,
Yes.
you will.
Changa doesn't have pressure against actual
and
pressure
finally,
gods.
She has
can't
this
walk
third
into the
aspect to
wave.
her passive where every ability that she hits that does damage to an enemy leaves a debuff on them that increases the damage that they take. This debuff previously lasted 4 seconds, just going up to 5 seconds, a little bit more consistency
Especially the
for
Conduit
Changa
nerf.
to be able to keep a high stack count, especially because she has to kind of go between her 2 dances that do damage, or if
Her
she's
pressure's
comboing into
decent,
her
it's
third
just
one,
not
it just
tippity
gives
top.
her a little bit of extra help in case she's not using her ultimate at every situation.
Yep, exactly right.
Yeah, got it. So all around just a sprinkle of little additions. Nice. So we're moving on, keeping going. Heimdall up next.
Yes, Heimdall. This is another.
Oh,
a fun one,
Schmeep's
you
gonna
might say.
nut in his
So
pants.
previously, Heimdall would throw the sword straight into the air during piercing sight. He would just throw it up. Now, instead, Heimdall throws
Oh,
it
that's
slightly in front of him.
crazy.
55 units. That's an entire basic attack in front of him. This
Okay.
effectively does not change very much in terms of where, the sword actually goes
Land,
down
yep.
because that is just completely unrelated. But
Yeah.
what this does do is allows you to now kind of use it more
Vision,
as a vision tool, which it has given vision before. It's just not something that many people play around. So now
Yeah.
it's a little bit easier to actually use it kind of as an
Everybody
extra tool.
at high
Throw it in
levels
the
playing that
jungle,
god
throw
uses it
over
for
a
vision.
wall, whatever you might want to do to actually go and check, is this camp up? Am I getting ganked? I can leave this here for 8
And if you're a
seconds.
shitter
so
playing Heimdall,
it's
you're
a
probably
little bit
feeding, to be
more-
honest.
another
It's just
tool
not
in
a
the
good
toolbox
god.
without having to
Is that
fully
all they're
commit
changing?
to putting himself in
If
the
they don't
spot
do it anymore,
where,
he's still
you wanna
shit.
place this. So that's number 1 for this ability. Number 2 is that Heimdall's sword now has a consistent landing time no matter how far away the sword is. So this is kind of a buff and a nerf a little bit. It just makes
Depends,
it very
yeah.
It's an
consistent. So now
extremely
instead of,
average
you're
change
sitting
that
there
I
waiting and
don't
waiting and
really
waiting if the
necessarily
sword is
consider
very
a
far away
buff.
to
More
actually
quality of
catch up to
life.
you. It'll always get there at the same time, but that also means that it's going to be very predictable for enemies too, that when they see the sword
Yep.
coming down, you know exactly when you need to get away from it and not have to worry too much about, I don't know how far away the sword was. The second you see that warning, you are out of there no matter how far away that sword is.
That's right, and it was kind of a necessary change as well. When we're putting the sword at an extra length in front of you, it was changing the amount of time that it took for it to
Yes.
come back down. So now, with it being a consistent time, it's really easy to time off of your ult or your knock up from your 2. And as well, yes, it is easier for enemies to understand that timing, but all around, just more intuitive.
Yes, just going to be very intuitive. And speaking of intuitive, we are doing a change to how this ability functions with targeters to make it a little bit nicer for our quick cast and instant cast users. So on quick cast, normally, Well, when you're usually casting this ability, you would press it, and then the targeter would show up and sit there, so you'd need to right-click it to make it go away. If you wanted to get back to basic attacking,
Exactly.
using your 2, anything else that you wanted to do, you'd have to right-click it. And that was just kind of a bit of a pain to have to do every single time. I mean, this is like your clear ability, other
Right.
than, you know, using your portals for that if you're super, super cracked at Heimdall. But now in Quick Cast, you will no longer see the targeter when you initially cast the ability. If you hold down the button that you use to cast the one, you'll still see the targeter. But it will not stay up the whole time. You won't need to right click. Same deal with instant cast, except the targeter will just never show up.
Won't show at all,
So
yeah.
personally for me, I'm a quick cast user for this ability in particular. But again, if you use instant cast, I'm not going to judge you. Normal cast, by all means. If you need to see the targeter, look at the targeter. Because clearly it does help.
Yeah, so now it's more intuitive with each type of the casting
Yes,
type.
exactly.
So if you like instant cast, you'll like this change. If you like quick cast, you'll like this change.
Mm-hmm.
If you like normal cast, you won't see a change, and there you go, everybody wins.
It just lets you get back to the action a little bit faster.
Yep.
Nice. Everybody wins. Gotta love an everybody wins situation. Those are always the best. So the last guy we have to talk about in this particular block of balance, there's some more coming up, is Surtur. So Surtur, this one looks kind of crazy
Yes.
a little bit.
Remember how we talked a little
We
bit
just
about...
put it up on the
Crazy.
screen like that.
We're showing it,
Stay
gosh.
silent
There
and
it
just
is.
let them read it. Yeah.
You guys want to read
What
that real
the
quick? I'll
fuck?
give you a second.
Just that first line, yeah.
Yeah. We'll have a quiet reading time.
Wait. It's so easy to get 200
All right,
stacks
you
now.
got it?
Hold on, this
You
is gonna
guys
be
ready to
super
go?
busted.
Okay, let's go. Flames of the Moose Bowl. This is one.
This is
Previously,
insanely
the stacks went up
broken.
to 200. Now they go to 999, and you may
That's
be
a
going,
lot
"Lure
more.
me."
What?
That's a lot of damage. What am I gonna? How am I supposed to get to 999?
Wait,
when
this-
I get a stack off of killing a minion, and that's killing.
This
a thing.
is
well now you get stacks in
very,
a lot of different
very
ways. First
broken.
off,
Like-
you get one stack
like
when hitting
very
an enemy
broken.
non-god. So minions.
'Cause you don't even have to
jungle
kill
camps,
it just to
anything
get a
that you're hitting
stack.
That is a non-god.
So you get 3 stacks off of a god if you have or off of a like a jungle camp.
But you get 2 stacks if you kill an enemy.
You get
non-god.
3 stacks
So
off a jungle
you
camp
can
with
hit
full
them to
cooldown.
get 1, and then kill them to get 2.
Because you
And this
won
is
on
the
your
burn
way
attack
out of
on them.
base to the
If they are
camp,
killed
hit
on the
it, and it's
burn
back up
attack.
again
If you
instantly.
hit them and they die to the initial hit, then you still
Yeah,
get
and then if
3
you use it
stacks.
on
So that's
side
3
creeps,
between the hit
you could get-
and then the
you
kill.
could get
But
7.
there's more.
There's more.
Surtur also gains additional stacks, so now we're at 3 when you hit an enemy god. So you get that same exact reward that it would be from hitting and killing a non-god. Just from
Oh,
hitting
wait, I
an
didn't
enemy
see they
god.
decreased it.
So
They
you can
decreased
kind of
stacks. They
pick and
decreased
choose,
stacks.
you
They
know, do I
decreased
wanna
stacks.
use this on the wave and have to do a little
But
bit
you're
more
still
of,
stacking
like,
faster.
micromanaging to actually be there.
So it's still
and,
above.
like, make sure it dies to the burn, or I
It's
could
still
just go
above
up and
though, because
stack
you're
my
still
way through and
stacking
get
faster than you
can
would have
make that choice.
before.
And you also get
Like,
a little bit of
way
extra bonus here,
faster.
too when you kill an enemy god with the burn active of 5 stacks. So that always feels really nice when you're like, yes, I got a burn kill. I
Oh
love that.
my
Feels so fun.
This is another one
gosh.
of those. I want to see who gets 999 first. I want to see these solo lane streamers.
I'm calling fine, okay. I'm
Yeah.
calling
Bro,
stop.
you're gonna
You guys
pour
have
it.
I wanna
Pour
see that
it.
one, 'cause
I
it's gonna
think
take
I'm
a
just
long
banning
time,
Surtur.
but the
I
important
don't
thing
care
is
if I
that
know
it's
if Port's in the
not
game or not.
actual
Nobody's
weapons
playing
that's really
Surtur in my
fun
game
part.
unless I pick
The
it.
damage will work out to be about the same, but it'll be a lot more consistent.
It's
than
not
the stacks
999
that they
damage
get.
at max stacks.
Before
It's
we've
half.
seen 200 stack Surturs,
Right.
they're not really playing the game. They're just kind of sitting in lane, just kind of last hitting minions for.
Oh,
for,
it
I
is
don't know,
one.
for-
Yeah,
for
okay. It is
Yeah,
999. I'm trolling.
I
I'm
think
trolling.
it ended up being around 30, maybe even under that. But they weren't playing.
This
the
just
game
sounds
properly for that
fucking
amount of time. And it was fun to
broken.
see. It was cool to see people race to 200. I mean, it took a while for somebody to actually be able to hit that for the first time, and I think it'll take a while for 999 as well. But throughout that time, they're going to be putting themselves in much more risky situations because they want to go in there and get in the actions. If they want to just hit minions,
Wait,
it's
how
gonna
much
take
faster are
forever.
you
If they
really
wanna hit
stacking?
gods, it'll actually go really fast. So if they get into team fights, stack that up quickly, rotate around, get into fights, and get that 999, and then just start hammering people with your one.
Yes, it is going to be actually very nice for the starter player as well, because previously it was 5 damage per.
I'd say
stack
you're
for
probably
using a
stacking
passive
3
attack.
times
Now it's
faster,
one.
but you
So actually,
lost
the very
you
convenient
lost
thing about that
5x
is the
damage.
passive meter will show the number,
Right?
and that number is completely equal to the amount of damage.
So is
that
it
you're doing.
isn't
It's
it
that plus
just gonna be the
30.
same amount of damage,
So
like
it's
less
very
damage?
nice to kind
Or
of
am I
have
trolling?
that like instant, like I can look and see how much damage this is going to do in an instant, which has been very, very nice to have.
Yeah,
as
5x
a
less
starter player.
damage for
And,
3x
We've been having a lot of fun
more faster stacking.
doing our stack checks and our play tests. As
It
you
is
can
funny
imagine.
when you put it that way as well, because there is somebody out there that's going to see the number 999 on their screen, and yes, that is the amount
Yeah,
of
but
damage you're doing.
Yep.
Plus
Because
35,
most
you're
games
doing
you get
over
100
1,000
stacks, so that'll be
damage with
500.
One hit of
So
a
now
basic
you're gonna
attack, and
probably
incredible damage,
easily
so
get, like,
who knows what kind of
500
protection they'll have
stacks,
up against you as a
but
physical
that's
god,
only gonna
so
be 500.
Go ahead, see if you can hit somebody for half of their health bar.
Yeah, let's see. I'm excited.
Yeah, that's going to be a really fun change.
No, it's
to-
not
to
1
play
less
with.
damage.
So
It's
really
5
cool
damage
stuff.
per stack down
And,
to
again,
1.
that's the end of.
It's
this
decreased
particular
from
balance
5 to
block.
1.
A really fun, kind of spicy ending. It's Surtur, so it makes sense that it's a hot end. But,
It's doing
now
1/5 the
we're moving
damage.
into another section of balance.
So it is.
it's
I don't
more
think
of
that's a
quality of
buff.
life. So it's
Yeah.
changes that
1
yeah,
less
quality of
damage.
life is
No,
just
no,
the
no,
best
no.
way to say it. And we're starting with
You were never
the
getting
newest
200
addition to our
stacks
cast,
before.
Newt.
You were getting
so when
100
we
max.
released, we
Nobody
saw
was
a
getting
lot
like
of discussion
130
about
maybe.
convergence. This is the ability that she spawns.
Nobody
with,
was
like,
getting
kind of
200
basic
stacks
attack
before.
and
You're
she
living in
has
a fantasy
the extra
world.
Orbs that come
Nobody
together
was getting
in
200
a
stacks
nice
before.
little cone. One thing that players did mention was that they weren't able to cancel this ability while they were firing it, kind of similarly to you.
Yeah,
to how you
it's
can do it with,
definitely
Rom or other people that
kinda
have
just
canceled
like,
systems like Hachiman.
a brain
So we
stimulator,
just
like,
made it
well, I
so
have
you are
lots of
now able to
stacks.
cancel convergence in that same way while you're shooting.
It's actually
So
like
your
a
ammo
nerf.
refunded if you have anything left over, so that's going to feel nice. But yeah, you can put it on cooldown basically whenever you want now, and not have to worry about.
If you can get
stopping
more
your
than
left
500
clicking
stacks
to actually
easy, it's
finish
a
it off.
slight buff.
Cool, nice and easy, nice and clean. Love it. So now we're moving.
I don't
on
know
to
how easy you're getting
Cupid.
over 500 stacks, so
sharing
we'll
the
see.
love,
It could
but
be
a little
easy.
Closer together now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is actually a very fun one as well because
Cupid Arts now spawn closer together. Nice. That should have happened a while ago.
Pretty far away.
Apart,
Yeah.
pretty far apart. So it made it a little bit difficult for players to really kind of want to
Easy.
go and get multiple of them.
Yeah, I mean, you
or
have
if
to
they
hit,
were, it was
like,
kind of
what,
a commitment
150
to
ones?
Really,
So
like,
you have to,
spend
like,
a
build
That's
up
really
against
not
the
that
wall,
many.
which is normally
Yes.
not ideal.
Yeah.
It just takes a lot of this extra kind of very specific thought about how I'm going to be putting down these.
But that's
these,
just to get to like the
you know,
old what you were hitting
hearts,
before.
which for a hunter, you don't want to be spending all that time thinking
No,
about
one
where
doesn't
you're
work on
placing the
cleave.
bad boys. So the space between the hearts is going down by quite a bit. It's going from 40 units to 25 units between the hearts. So it's shrinking quite significantly.
I'll have to
But
try
the fun
Surtur
part
on
about
PTS
this
because
is
I
we
think it's
unfortunately don't have
a
visual for you right now,
a
but
nerf
the way that it actually
or
lines
like
up
a
makes it
side buff,
really
like a
nice because
slight
now you're
hair
able
of a
to
buff.
kind of dash
Maybe.
through them
Maybe.
yourself.
Yeah.
So if you line it up so that the triangle is kind of right in front of you, you're able to kind of tilt to the left or to the right a little bit and just zip through two of them. It feels really,
No, I don't
really
think
nice
Smite
as a
1's
Cupid
getting
player
any
to
more
be
new
able
gods.
to do that for yourself or
I
even
think
for
Nut
an
is the
ally.
only new god for
And
Smite
if
1
you
this
do want to
year.
give all those hearts to one ally, they don't have to go as far to pick them all up.
Exactly, yeah, and it was even tough in like game modes like Assault. Like you would put it somewhere in the middle of the map, and that furthest one forward, because it was such a big distance, would bounce all the way towards the enemy, and you
Yeah.
couldn't even go
Yeah.
pick it up. But now they're more likely to go right where you're placing them, and yeah, I really like the whole put it in front of you, do a little bit of a sidestep, if that, and just angle your camera, and you can just dash through two of them, and just that sound of picking up two hearts along the way of your dash, very satisfying.
Very, very fun.
Very satisfying. Well, cool. It might just be because it was Cupid, but I do love that change. I love that change. And so now we have Kabrakan coming up next, and his shield is getting a little tweak.
Yeah, refraction shield. So previously, well, I guess I say previously, it's been
Forever.
ever since
Yeah.
Kabrakan has been
He
released.
just keeps
which,
his
God, that's been
debuff
a
at
long
all
time.
times.
Talk about it. It's gonna hurt.
Refraction Shield has a passive component where every time that you get hit, you get extra protections. It would last for a set amount of time and then it would go off. But the problem with that is that Refraction Shield only stuns if you have that full protection stack up. So even if you're still in combat, you could lose this like ability to stun with Refraction Shield, and that would
Yeah.
feel pretty bad to where you're doing everything you're supposed to be doing as a tank. You're tanking for a long
Still
time
taking
as well,
damage, yep.
and you're taking the damage the whole time, and then you lose your stun and your protections, not to mention,
Exactly, yeah,
which
even worse.
did not feel very good. So what we've done is now Kabrakan keeps those protections as long as he's still taking damage. The timer that ticks down his stacks only starts when you stop taking damage.
That's right. Yeah, as long as you keep taking damage, those stacks will continue to refresh. You'll stay at max stacks. You can use.
But
your
the
stun
thing
when you
is,
want to. You
6
can hold on
stacks
to the
per camp
protection.
is only
You
6
can do
power.
either, but as long
Or
as you're
6
still taking
damage,
you hold
where
on to the stacks.
one
You don't have
stack
to
per
worry about
camp
the
would have been
stack falling
5
off anymore
before.
And being rushed into using.
You
those
easily could
or
stack 2 per
having to
camp,
get out of the
which would have
fight
been
because
10
the
per
stacks are
camp.
gonna fall off. Like
Yeah.
this was a big deal in like Braken's laning phase in solo. You would just take such an extreme amount of damage as soon as those stacks fell off.
I mean, the big
because
thing is stacking in
generally
lane
he builds
early
kind of a
is
higher
going to be
damage build,
way easier.
and your protections were coming from that too. And then as soon as those were gone, you felt like a squishy character all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And it wasn't fun having to battle your own passive stacks. Now you can kind of keep them, and you can stun somebody as long as you have a minion hitting you, or as long as you have the enemy god hitting you. You will have your stun most of the time.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool.
Exactly.
Yep.
Awesome. Love to hear that for Kabrakan. It reminds me of one of my old sayings. If Hercules is getting 2 quality of life changes, Ro would be the one to talk about them. My grandma used to say that all the time. So anyway, Ro, how about Hercules, huh?
Yeah, so I spoiled the second part of this on Twitter already. So you
It
can
was
check that if you want to, but we're going to talk about it in a moment. But just the general feel good. We've done things similar for.
I think 100 stacks on a Surtur game was
Agni
pretty
being able to
normal.
Move with his bomb.
Ymir
Cthulhu-
got
Like
a
like
camera
40
unlocked.
minutes, 50
Ymir
minutes,
on
100
camera
stacks.
unlocked, Cthulhu
Maybe
being
a little
able
bit
to
more.
use it. So a lot of feel good quality of life changes here. And when we talk about quality of life, they're positive, right? Positive.
I
is
got
buff,
100 on
so I
Surtur in a
understand
30-minute
using
game, and
buffs as
I had
well.
max
The
cooldown, and I was
smaller buffs,
min-maxing
you know,
only
they
stacking the
shouldn't
whole
matter
game.
Too much. And again, if Hercules
As a
somehow
jungler.
had a resurgence into the meta and became very strong, we can hit him elsewhere in the nerfs. But what we're really focusing on here is the feel. So the unlocking of the camera is going to feel really good.
Oh, to
just
be
allows you to
you get
see more
100
around
stacks, you
while you're
need
doing things.
500 now.
It's not going to make the
Right?
aim really any different. It's just
It's
gonna
1 to
feel
1.
better. And this is
100
one that's
stacks
hard
would
to
have been
show. You
500.
kinda just have to
Now you need
get
500
in there and
stacks
play
for
yourself. And
500.
the PTS will be live after this show, so you can feel it then, or you can wait until next Tuesday when it's out.
Yep.
But the big one, Excavate, this is a fun one. So before Hercules he's a strong god, right? And it felt really impactful when you would start your ultimate and you're forced to stop moving because you're pulling this massive.
Can you
amount of
aim the
ground
boulder
up
at a
the-
wall
the-
that's right in
the
front of you now?
floor, I
If
guess.
not, they didn't quality of life
And yeah,
change
you
is
feel
gone.
strong, but
Perk's worst
then
thing
all of a
is
sudden
stunning
you're
somebody in a
blocked
wall and
you're
then not being able to
strong
ult
anymore.
because you're too close.
We've unlocked him, so he now can rotate. He can move his camera around and aim that elsewhere. So it just feels
I
like
might
he has
double
this
J, I haven't
added
decided
strength
yet.
of being able to just
Probably.
eat this rock wherever you want, and you can flick it wherever you want. His old ultimate, or it's the same ultimate, but the way.
Yo,
it
so
used
you
to
guys
work had
know, when
added
you buy the
problems as well,
Founders
if
Pack,
you
I
were to
need
push
you to
someone
buy
up
it
against the
through my
wall,
Nexus
you
link.
couldn't actually throw
For
the
the love
boulder
of
against the
God,
wall because it comes out
please
a
buy
little
it through my
bit.
Nexus
That's
link.
not the case anymore. Now the targeter, if you're up against
Everyone's
the wall,
gonna buy
can be
it.
all the way up down to your feet.
So
you can literally
please
just
use my
throw the
Nexus link to
ball-
buy
throw
it.
the
It'll be
boulder
the same
at your
cost
feet.
as
So no
whatever
matter
high-res is
how
selling it
much
for.
space there is between you and the enemy
Please
god,
use it.
you can hit them. If they're running circles around you, you can turn in circles around them as well. Or you can just, make these YouTube videos, hit those 360 no scope.
15th.
Another thing I want to see.
5 days, you can buy the pre-order.
I want to see 99 Surtur, and then I want to see a 360.
No,
no
console
scope
players should be able to buy it
Cooldown.
too. I'm like 99% sure.
You just
I'll
keep
have to
making
double check, but I'm like
challenges.
99% sure.
Oh,
Yeah, I want to get tweeted at one of these videos. That'll be great. So yeah,
That would be great.
this is it's one that's harder to explain, but trust me, it feels better. If you're worried about balance concerns, don't worry, we can take care of
Gotcha.
that. Yeah.
And that's not even to mention the change to Earthbreaker too. This is such a fundamental feels good that I can't even explain how good this feels, because previously when you use Earthbreaker, it's the ability that you would stomp down, the ground would come up, and then they'd start flying towards you, and usually you wouldn't do a big 180 to be
Trying
able
to
to
see if
push
they
it back
say
up the
anything
peak.
about it for
You have
console.
to flick so fast because your camera's locked this whole time. Now that it's unlocked, oh my god, I feel like they're up in the air forever. I understand now
Yeah,
from the other end of getting tossed around by Hercules, and you're like, huh, okay, where are they at? Oh, there they are, and you're 100% ready every single time, it feels like. So it feels like unlocks his potential so much.
Yeah, it felt like before when I played Hercules, I'd have to pull them and then flick my camera, and no matter what, I was always flicking like 180 degrees.
Yeah.
Because I had to just do it so fast. Now you can kind of turn around and you can kind of intentionally aim where you want to push
Yeah.
the enemy god.
And you don't have
all
to
this
guess
time.
either, which is nice. You
Exactly.
can really like feel out that time that they're coming. You can say, okay, they're coming. Okay, now I'm ready. Whereas before, you'd kind of have to like do it so fast that you're like, I just gotta pray that they're actually coming.
Yeah, so we're just adding a lot of fluidity to his kit,
Yes.
and to make him feel a lot better in that regard. So get in and play him and let us know how it feels.
Yeah, that's the cool thing about all these quality of life changes is they're very specifically designed to just make the experience feel better. And I think that it's hard not to win with that.
Yeah,
kind of
you're gonna be able to buy it on the
moving
Nexus
on
store.
to
I'm
the
pretty
last
sure.
Of the QOL
I think you're gonna be able to buy
box, and that
a
is
founder's code
Achilles, and his,
from the
what's
Nexus
it
store
called?
to have the
Yeah, so
pre-order.
this is a very similar vein to Heimdall's adjustment,
Ooh.
where this is specifically only
Oh, it's
for
just
quick and instant cast, and
visuals.
this is if you opt into those anyway.
Thank you, Jar Jar.
On quick cast, the targeter will not show up unless you refire the ability. So again, if you wanted to cancel this bad boy, it's just automatically canceled for you. You can
Founders
go
Pack
back
is
to
out on the
use your 1 or
15th,
2,
5 days.
Whatever you want to do, it's going to be there for you. And if you need to see the targeter again, you can. Instant cast, the targeter will never show up, so you just push the button
The
again and
reason you
fire.
use the Nexus store
This is an instant
is
cast.
because it takes high-res's money
So nice to not have to
and
worry about
gives it to me.
managing this, like,
You
right
pay the
thing
same
you have to
amount,
do, or maybe
except
an
for instead of it going all to high-res, I get a huge chunk of high-res's money.
very nice to be able to do.
So please
all
use the
these
Nexus link.
things that kind
There's
of unlock.
also a weird incentive that once I sell a certain amount of Nexus, I make more money off of every sale. Like all my sales then are worth more.
It's the same as
So I want to make sure I hit that. I'm pretty close to hitting it already. But I wanna make sure we hit it, like,
all
right
these
away.
characters That have these kind of
So please use it.
abilities that bring up multiple stages of targeters. It feels the exact same.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
So
he
it's
said
just,
you can Herc all
like
your
I said
feet?
before,
Nice, that's huge. That was a quality of life change I needed. That's the worst. You play full damage Herc, you stun somebody in the wall, and then you're like,
Well,
just
that's the end of that. And like you
nothing's
said, what a
happening with
fun-
the
What a
ult.
fun little section to talk.
It's like a
through
creator
because
code,
it
yeah,
was-
except for high-res made it
exact
difficult.
Phrase was used several times, bringing out the potential of these different gods. You know, some of them that have already been, played. People have honed certain things to perfection. Like there are definitely Hercules players out there who have honed that craft of the knock up, the push, the ult. But now it's adding an additional layer. You can get back in and kind of push beyond what was there.
When do we get Smite 2? You pre-order it on the 15th, you can, and then sometime in May you're gonna be able to play alphas, and then sometime next year the game's gonna release.
And utilize their skill.
From my understanding,
to push a god from 100% to 110%. So excited to see a lot of that. So this next section here is, I'm gonna set y'all up for this before I pass it over to them. We have one more design section to talk about. And it's similar to some stuff you saw last time. Last update, we did some timing passes. We went back and adjusted some things, and we had some examples for y'all of some of the more dramatic ones. We had Iset and her, the way she flaps wings
oh, they're
faster
doing
for
more
the-
shit like
for
Iset's
one,
one. Like
And,
they said Pele's
we did a lot
too.
of timing passes.
What
And,
else?
we took feedback from those, or they took feedback from those especially, and really took it inside and reviewed it, and we're like, this made stuff better. We like taking this timing in, even if the adjustment is a fraction of a second or whatever, like it makes the gods affected and their abilities specifically feel better, And so they went crazy with it. I'm about to let them talk.
You're pre-ordering to play the alpha, my guy. You're not pre-ordering for a year in advance. The pre-order gives you access to the alpha.
I'm on the other side of the glass, and they're working with the pans,
which
and
is
they're
in May.
chefing back there, and they're cooking in the kitchen
Once a weekend,
and they
starting
have
in May.
created a lot of heat.
One weekend a month, I think, starting
What
May.
did y'all do for the timing pass for this update?
Phew. All right. Okay. So let's just start at the beginning here.
Dive in.
We reviewed every
Oh,
single ability
shit.
and passive in the game.
Oh
And
shit!
there's 130 gods, so that's a lot, all right.
Oh,
so let's start there.
shit.
That's a lot. At
Wait,
the end of
this
the day,
is-
we have adjusted 103
What?
abilities across 72 gods.
Also
So
a
not
lot.
every god got adjusted. Yes, true.
Bro,
but we did
hold on.
evaluate all of
Hold
them.
on, hold on. This is
We are
fucking
still going to be on the
crazy.
lookout to make sure that these abilities are feeling great. There's no weird bugginess going on with them because, of course, that's a lot of changes. You never know in certain situations, especially when you account lag into them.
So they're pretty
where
much
things might
speeding
go,
up
But we feel very confident that this is going to
one
increase
ability
the
on like half
fidelity
the
of game,
gods, 30
and you're
gods,
going to feel the
40 gods.
responsiveness just go up by a ton across the board.
Ymir's
So
stun
what
is
actually
crazy
changing?
good.
I kind of explained this last time, but to break it down a little bit more of a technical level, there is a time period before your ability actually activates, where you, as the character,
You're animating.
start animating.
Yes.
This is called a pre-fire. So your ability has not yet come out, but
Never
you are
really get- we
animating
call
to
it
show
the
that I'm
animation.
about to attack. And then there's some time after that's kind of like the wind down of the ability, where you are still animating, but the attack
Post-fire?
has come out. That is called the post-fire.
Shocker.
Essentially, what we have done is taken time out of the pre-fire before the ability comes out and put it into the post-fire. So the abilities are still going to be animating and like leaving you
Okay,
in
wait,
animation
that's
for
weird.
the exact same amount of time. The animations have not changed.
But they come
It is
out
just
faster.
When does the actual ability fire? That is now better in line with the art, and
Okay.
especially going to be very feasible to observe them on higher ping as well.
Yes.
Okay.
So you can really notice a difference when these abilities
There's
are going
a
to be
list?
better in line with your
They're
animations.
not gonna go over it, I
is
assume?
The TLDR of that. A lot
Oh,
of these
you- oh, wait, are the patch
adjustments
notes
are
up?
under a tenth of a second, and believe
Okay,
me when
wait.
I say if it's a tenth of a second, and a tenth of a second change is huge. Like, let me tell you, most of these are like 0.005. Like, it is a very small adjustment. But they feel very big. Like, as someone who plays a lot of various characters, like I was talking with
Oh
Snoopy the
my
other day, and Snoopy was like, "Hey
God.
man, can you look at Baron?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll take a look at Baron." And what do you know? Life of the party, right on up there. Did need some adjustments. Was not quite matching the animation perfectly.
Yeah.
So what is happening with Baron
Stun,
specifically to kind of illustrate
Stinger.
is that when Baron goes into his ultimate, he kind of hops in the coffin. Now, the actual pull
Chernobog?
into the coffin starts a little bit sooner. It starts when he
Aposh?
visually is sitting on his coffin. And it's the same idea for all of these other characters. When they are shooting
Raise
their projectiles,
attack.
or they're doing their abilities that are originating from them, from their animations, it's going to match just so much better, feel much more succinct, much more, in the flow.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, there's just so many abilities that we just can't show
Holy
all of
fuck.
them.
How about the
They're
Pele one?
fully,
This
yeah,
is
they're
fucking
fully listed on the patch notes.
crazy.
And again, the reason that we nerfed Pele is because she was getting a very, very big adjustment here.
Yeah.
Hades
to
autos.
Eruption. And so
Torrent.
Eruption essentially previously
Both the Chungas.
is a
Yeah.
very strong
Hell.
knock ability, and it's
Perks
still going to
ult.
do exactly that same thing. But the reason that we nerfed her is because
Charybdis.
previously you would have to go all the way
The
up and all the way
updraft.
down,
And then it would
start firing. Now the adjustment for Pele is
Wow,
that she
that's-
comes down, and when she has that impact on the ground, oh my god, it feels so good, you guys. I can't even really explain. She comes down, and then the knockup happens.
Yeah.
It really feels like the
Ring
shift
toss
in
is
weight
gonna feel
that
so
makes
much
this
better.
ability for Pele specifically.
That's fucking
feels
crazy.
so
I
much
hate
more
Naja's ring
impactful,
bounce.
But that is like probably the biggest
Nua.
change that we did throughout the patch was that timing adjustment. That's like on the upper end
Pele?
of the
Oh,
timing
both
changes.
of
Most the other
Pele's
changes, like I said,
abilities.
fractions of seconds. It's going to be a little
Raijins
difficult to
too?
notice, and again, these should be very small adjustments that are barely perceptible to enemies.
This is almost
but
old,
as
right?
the person playing it, they're
That's
gonna
right.
feel it, and it's gonna be great.
Wait,
I've had to explain it to
Hold
multiple
on.
people as
Is
well.
that-
and
wait,
that's-
is Astro
I
Mirage is
usually use
alt?
the term input lag a little bit, and it kind of
Yeah.
is across the board. We're reducing input lag, which is almost always a good thing.
For sure.
So we hope that feels a lot better just on its own.
Ah!
But realistically, if you don't play a god very often that's had these changes, and if it's a god that has a change on the smaller end, then you might not even notice it yourself. When you're up
I'm
against
about to
enemies,
fuck
you're
you guys
probably not
up
gonna
on
notice
Circat,
it
bro.
at all, unless you're paying a lot of attention.
That,
But for
this
the
might
main gods
be
you play and
life
all the
changing
gods
for
you have more
Circat if it's
experience
fast
with,
enough.
I think you're going to feel the reduced input lag on a lot of these abilities. Now, there's a long list of them, so we're not going to go through them. But yeah, we just hope that it increases the feel and really just the animations and the effects all match up with the damage numbers showing at the right time.
Yeah.
It all syncs up together and it
Vulcan?
just makes it more intuitive and everything feels just how it should be. It feels like this is always the way it should have been.
Yeah. And I think,
Sozano,
I don't know. The cool thing about this to me is the difference between the word feel and the word
Monolith's gonna feel better.
Because, there are people that play a lot more Smite than I do. And if I hopped in and played some of these changes, I might not notice them, but I will feel them. And I'll be like, wow, these abilities are really clean to cast. Like, I might not be able to say, oh, they cleaned that up. That's a lot better, because I just don't play enough. But even as somebody who doesn't play as much, I feel like there's still something you'll feel. You'll say, wow, this ability feels really clean, even if I don't recognize why. I mean, obviously, I guess I know these changes, so it'd be easier for me. But a newer player would just say, man, this just feels really clean. It's doing
What
exactly what I
the
expected
fuck?
to, and that's awesome feeling.
Oops,
But if
wrong
you're
way.
a more veteran player, you have the benefit of noticing them as well. You're like, this feels better, and I know why. I can see what they were talking about. And even though, like you
Oh
said, it's not like it's
gosh.
particularly a buff for some
This
people. For
should
some
be
it is.
crazy.
But for
Like, this
some,
should
if, the
feel
enemy's not
amazing.
noticing that much of a difference, but you are
Should.
able to time these things
Unless
so
they're
much
the
better
amount they
with the
change it is
visuals you
just
have.
micro
That's just-
fucking
It's so
fractions.
crazy. And to say that you've done that 103 times across.
I mean,
what
that was
it?
not the only time. We had more experiments that we tried,
Yeah.
right? So again, every single ability was hand observed, hand adjusted to see, if we could make these
Pin
adjustments. And
got
unfortunately, for a
fucking
lot of
sped
them,
up?
or rather fortunately, I guess you might say, for the
Fortunately,
majority of abilities, they were good. They were chilling. Everything was
rock and
looking
roll.
good. And we also didn't make any adjustments on the other end of things
The
as well.
negative side.
If things were coming out early per se,
Wait.
before the animation actually looked like it was
What is
going
this,
to fire,
piercing
we
shot
didn't
is
test
ult?
those, because that would be an unnecessary nerf, and unnecessary feels bad.
Yeah.
And it would be slowing the game down, which we don't want to do. We want to make sure that everyone's still either feeling exactly the same or feeling better than they were before.
BTS
So we did
update
not
out.
intentionally
I got
adjust
it.
abilities that
I
were coming
know.
out early. One of the biggest examples
Well,
that
I
I
guess
can
this
think
is the
of
end of the
off
patch
top
notes,
of my head
huh?
is Giannis 2. He's not even
Fuck it.
crossing his hands before it comes out, but we were talking about this a lot, and we were like,
That
"Should we
time
adjust
one?
this down?"
Oh.
And we decided against it because we don't want these characters to feel slower. We want them to feel
Yeah.
responsive. We want them to feel fluid, and we hope that this adjustment does it.
Yeah, just like the Smite 2 mantra. It's just strictly better. Like, y'all aren't just making changes for the fun of it. Haha. It's you're looking at it.
Yeah, let me tell you, that's a week of my life that I put into
All right,
that.
so that's the end of the
I was
patch
wondering
notes.
why when
They're
I
just
walked-
gonna talk about that. We just saw there's nothing else left. This patch is fucking huge. This is like a really, really, really big patch. I think I'm gonna go play PTS unless if Sammy's home, I might not be able to, but I don't think she's home. We'll have to see. Anonymous, thank you for 5 gifted. All right.